Only +1 on the weekend in terms of weight, though. I'll take it. From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Coach Saban here. On the field or on your walls, coverage matters. That's why I go with Behr Marquee Interior Paint and Primer from the Home Depot.
Exceptional hide, advanced stain blocking, and over 1,000 colors to choose from. Behr Marquee delivers one-coat coverage that stands up to real life. One-coat coverage, no overtime. Behr Marquee, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid only when tinted to colors from the Behr Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Collection.
Seven o'clock in St. Louis. You are listening to The Morning After, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and on the TMA STL YouTube channel. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program, and a gentleman by the name of Little Jackie Papers. On the ones and twos, we welcome you to get involved on the program by calling in, texting in, watching on YouTube, and interacting with the friends in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. So here are the phone numbers, 314 974-0101, Collier and Thompson phone lines. Text in to our Air Comfort Service text inbox, 314-399-9646. Open up your YouTube app and type TMASTL, and then you've got the TMASTL YouTube channel. And MD 2020 is talking to the Lime adjacent Wildcat and deep voice dude who used to be Lex Luthor. Am I right on that, Jackson?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't begin to tell you. I think Lex Luthor's still in there, isn't he?
No, I think Lex Luthor goes by deep voice dude sometimes. Doug, Lex Luthor's deep voice dude?
I don't know. I'm not going to be much good to you.
Oh, no.
I'm losing my voice. Listen to this.
Wow.
I feel fine.
Were you screaming at referees during the game? Were you yelling at the TV?
No, I don't know what happened. I just woke up like this.
Could be an allergy.
I guess it could be. I've had the herbal tea and with honey and gargled with salt water and had the lozenges. Nothing seems to help.
Wow.
I'm not going to be much good to you at all. And this time I mean it.
How about a shot of bourbon? Let's get this guy. Let's get a real remedy. Where's Timmy's dad? We need a shot of whiskey.
Yeah, that's not bad, yeah. You want a little shot of whiskey?
No.
Take the edge off?
Think it'll help?
No.
Won't hurt.
Well, it could kill me.
Come on, Doug. It's the holiday week. Nobody's working.
Oh, is that right? People take this week off?
Well, Chuck Marlowe says this is the beginning of nobody doing any work for 6 weeks.
I think Chuck Marlowe's right. Charlie Marlowe AI.
You kind of pretend to have a lot of stuff going on this time of year. I'm going to run out. Tim, I'll run out this afternoon. I got a couple of stops to make. And then you say, what'd you get done? Oh, just, they weren't in. Just say a couple of stops to make.
A couple of stops.
I like people to not count on me.
Done. Sold.
The Colonel is going to be with us. Chris Kerber is going to be with us. The audience, many people will be with us in 4 hours and complain about every living second of the program. Doug, that is what we have on the Stiefel dossier, along with the Design Air Heating and Cooling email the day, the morning after, at InsideSTL.com. That is how you can compete for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email the day, online at DesignAirService.com. And Martin, before you got here, Doug and I were watching the 2 Fox, which is up here in the studio, and snow. Snow. Starting on Friday after Thanksgiving. So heads up.
Horrible news.
But Doug, you want to tell us about Design Air, don't you?
Well, if it does snow, you're going to want your furnace to work, and so better than my throat is working. So Design Air is a company that you would call. Why? Well, they've been around since 1904. At Design Air, they believe in honest work. You're never going to be sold something you don't need. Very important to get the regular maintenance on your furnace, especially if it's a gas furnace. You want to be sure that it's not clogged up, that the filters are working, that you got a good enough filter in there. Design Air can send somebody out there and get you taken care of. It's what they've done for me for a couple years now, and my furnace is running just great. Thank you very much. Visit DesignAirService.com. Schedule your service today. Design Air, comfort you can count on since 1904, and of course, home of the handsome repairmen, guys like Larry the Silver Fox, the highly regarded Brian, the rugged Joe, the dashing Steve, and the bold and daring Adam. One of these guys will get you taken care of real nice like. That's Design Air. Check him out for all of your furnace needs.
Send Doug home!
Oh. I probably should go home.
Well, feel free, man.
I don't think I can talk like this for 4 hours.
Well,
Doug,
that's fine. Let's
get you the shot of whiskey live on the air and have you just babble like you're crazy, and then we'll send you home with an Uber.
I wish I could babble like I'm crazy.
Al Roboski one year was calling the play-by-play. Remember that? They would have him do some of the games on play-by-play, but he had a serious neck injury. Do you remember that? Tim, do you remember doing games?
Yes, I do remember
and
that.
he was struggling to speak, and I think people were wondering rightfully, well, why is he doing the game? It was.
Is there no one else?
Yeah.
Well, you show up.
You are free to leave at any time just for your own mental health.
Well, I might drive people crazy if I talk like this for 4 hours.
Why is Mr. Martin making Doug work today? The poor guy can barely talk. Anyways, Colts lost to Jackson's Chiefs on Sunday. That's from Brian Henshin, who I guess was over at Arrowhead.
Stop by on your way back, Henshin.
Yeah, stop
Fill in for Doug.
Yeah,
right
fill
there's
in
the
for
answer.
Doug.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
Be
Henshin
nice.
can come in here and break it down. Jackson, are you happy that the Chiefs won? Okay, I guess that answers that.
So Doug can't talk. Jackson's not speaking. So, Tim, this is what we've got.
I'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk. I saw that they went to overtime, and I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch any of it? I watched a lot of it.
No, I didn't watch the snap.
Is it an NFL bitterness that has you not watching?
I have things to do.
Oh, what was the word? What are you doing?
Things to do. Now, Jackson, you've opened the door into Paper's little world, but
Paper's little world.
But sometimes you'd rather not share all the details, but you just open the door.
What was I doing during that time yesterday? I was actually getting ahead of some work here so that this week.
You were here yesterday?
Uh-huh.
Did you see me and my family come by? Were you
No.
in your little...
What time around?
Doug, we went to the Shack yesterday. What time did we go?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
It was like about 11.
I think you're right, Martin. I think it was in the 11:30 range. Saw Michael Wellington's brother, Kevin Wellington, there. He's a delight. And then I said, for Sound Story, I interviewed the owner of Clementine's.
Mm-hmm.
What a story, by the way, that business as it continues to expand. And she brought in 3 pints of ice cream for me and my family, and I left it in the freezer. And I thought, we're relatively close. Let's stop by the station. My younger son loves to come by. Her older son doesn't really find it all that interesting. And so we came in. I didn't see anybody.
Yeah, I was here around 2:30.
Oh, we beat you.
Okay.
Gosh.
Yeah, because we're off Thursday, Friday for Thanksgiving.
Boy, they are going to be pissed about that.
Right. So when you're off,
That's when you lean on the skeleton.
Some's got to play.
Oh, the skeleton.
Some's got to play from 7 to 11. That means I got to cut it up. So get ahead of that so that my week this week isn't brutal. Figured I'd do that.
Let me try to get a gauge on this. If I could just right now slide over $50 $100 bills,
Yeah.
and whatever that totals, I can't figure it out.
Sure.
I went to journalism school, didn't even graduate, and you get to keep it. The taxes, Mark Milton will help you out with that.
Always does.
Or you never have to ever again do 105.7 HD2, the skeleton. What would you take?
Give me the money right now. Give me the money.
All right, the skeleton for the next 25 years of your life.
Yeah. Well, Christmas is coming. But this wasn't even skeleton related. This is for 101. We have to put some
8 hours.
We have 8 hours of being off. So
why don't we just go to the
slice up some
mothership?
segments.
Let's listen in live to Bristol, which we often simulcast during this show.
On remote.
Right, that does happen. I'm pretty sure they'll probably be on Best of too. I don't think there's going to be people giving Turkey Day takes.
Oh, they got some. There's somebody sitting around Bristol that just can't wait to unleash their takes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably about the Jets or the Giants, but I'm sure there's somebody in the building, some youngster, just can't wait to get in front of that red hot mic.
You think we should platform that person?
Yeah, I'm saying Bristol would provide some on-air programming, and it'll be some young up-and-comer who just can't, and all of their takes will be about the Jets and Giants.
This may be surprising. I did not choose for a bunch of best of. This is just what I was told to do, and that's what I do.
Good for you. You are a soldier.
Yeah. Comes in on Sunday. Look at this guy.
Chop wood, carry water.
And then I was sending you all kinds of clips, which is normally Tim's
That
vehicle.
is my gig.
And
you on TikTok now? You on the TikToks?
These are all just Twitter tweets, but it had some fun with audio.
Yeah.
And I kept sending them to Jackson, and then I said, okay, I'll stop. And then I added another one. I said, okay, I lied.
No one ever has to apologize for that. It just makes my job easier. You'd be surprised that you gentlemen were sending me very similar clips.
Oh, is that right?
Similar
Lincoln
clips.
Riley?
A lot of Lincoln Riley.
Yeah,
So what'd your grandma think?
Yeah. So
And there was a Tom Brenneman. And the thing is, I didn't listen to any of them. I decided that would be up to you to decide what was
appreciate
worthy.
I got it all. Thank you.
Doug, here's the deal. You can't talk.
No.
But you still have one responsibility.
What's that?
What is the lead?
Probably Mizzou. I'd say Mizzou.
Martin, what do you think on that?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, that's why I was...
So last night on the 2 Fox, when nobody plays on a Sunday of the big teams, you have to kind of decide what was the weekend story. And so we did Blues last night just because they're in the middle of this lengthy road trip. They finally got a win. And as much time as we pound on them when they lose, be kind of a jerk move when they win, like, who cares, one game. But I think the Mizzou story still moving forward. And then we actually talked about this, I think, Friday. Tim, you weren't here, and it's 7:01 on Thursday and 7:01 on Friday. It was declared the worst show ever because you were not here. But I believe, Jackson, we were talking about, I think it was you. Who else was here? That Mizzou is expected to go 8-4, loosely, right? Based on Vegas and a lot of the predictions.
7.5 was the win.
Yeah, so a lot of the pundits. and they very well could go 8-4. Yet it feels very disappointing, which maybe is kind of a weird twist. I still think Mizzou's the lead because we're getting right to the end here. The Blues have got a long way to go. I'm going to vote Mizzou, and the fact that Oklahoma was and is beatable, but you still can't beat them.
Because you don't have an offense. That's the core issue. I think if I were, like, what fascinates me individually the most is what is going to take place over the next 7 days, not even with Eli Drinkwitz, but just in general with the coaching search in Baton Rouge, Gainesville, Happy Valley. And Doug, what do you call it, the loveliest village on the plains?
I never say that, no.
At War Eagle. That's what intrigues me, I think, more than the actual games. But the two tie into it when it comes to Missouri, because when you're a subscriber to PowerMizzou.com, you also have access to all of the other sites. So you have your Gabe DeArmonds at Auburn, LSU, Florida, Penn State, and so on. And so you can get their reactions. And my God, Eli Drinkwitz, the idea of any of those schools hiring Eli Drinkwitz is something that is met with fury from those fan bases. They all want Lane Kiffin, Penn State notwithstanding, and I don't think Auburn thinks they're in the mix. But Eli Drinkwitz's name is in the mix for all of them. And so then after Saturday's game, you're going to tell me the guy who couldn't coach his team to score a touchdown against Oklahoma is going to be, is going to be the solution here? You got to be kidding me. That's the mindset. So whoever doesn't get Lane Kiffin, if they get Eli Drinkwitz, all hell breaks loose. Mm-hmm. So that is the mindset of the fan bases when they see Missouri's performance offensively against teams that aren't Mississippi State and then most likely Missouri. I mean, if you can't score against Arkansas, God help you. By the way, only 2.5-point favorites.
Oh, brother.
And you guys Arkansas. Are going down Friday? You going to get there?
I think we're going to go down.
Tailgate
we're just going to skip family Thanksgiving to get to
get there Thursday.
It's that big of a game. You should.
Thank you.
They're early. So I still think Mizzou. Doug, you get to vote. I'm sorry. You decide. What is the lead?
I think it's the disappointment of Mizzou.
Okay.
A promising season gone south.
And I think Gabe on his postgame, he and Cody, they did a good job breaking down some of the key decisions. And credit to the guys who were on site, the reporters who asked a lot of fourth down questions for Drinkwitz, where their strategy did seem to be a little bit timid. Maybe that's understating it. But there was a lot of discussion about that, about when they did kick a field goal, when they did punt. And I just thought it was a very thorough. And then it got to the callers, who, of course, are just highly entertaining.
Absolutely.
But I think that game for Drinkwitz, now granted, your offense is terrible. And I texted you guys. I listened to a lot of Mizzou on the radio before I'll watch some of it later. And Howard Richards, this has been a theme where he'll say, boy, I don't understand. We had some success. He calls out in a
the cap to Howard Richards.
Yeah, in a polite way, he will say, I don't understand. We had success. He said, we were throwing that curl route to Coleman or whatever. He'll point out a play or two that worked. And he will say, I don't understand why then we stopped doing it. And Mike Kelly said, well, I know in recent weeks, too, we've had some issues with the other team knowing our plays. And I only knew about it the one time Caden Green mentioned it. But
that was Texas A&M.
But Mike's reference, he said, I know in recent weeks, I don't know if there was more that had been talked about. But I think that frustration now with an offense that is predictable, bland, is an issue, but the head coach also with some chances to be a little more bold. And I think Gabe really, he focused on a couple of them, but when they were at the 50-yard line, that would have been the third quarter, and they're losing.
4th and 2, 17-6.
And you're at the 50-yard line, which for them was great field position based on the game. And they decided to punt, and he said it's because they trusted their defense. I would argue if you trust your defense, you can go for it at the 50-yard line. That if you feel like your defense can stop a team, you don't care where you are on the field. So I thought that was timid. And, yeah, okay, Oklahoma historically is a monster program. That team barely feels like a playoff team to me. And here you are, Mizzou, and this is the frustration in a new system where more teams can get in. I think it is fair to say the last couple of years, you're not that far away. And that just adds to the how do we get over the hump? And the way they played and coached in that game made it even more frustrating.
They have a national championship caliber defense with a bottom of the SEC caliber offense and a bottom of FBS Power 4 school special teams. And that would be my summary of the 2025 Missouri Tigers, and therefore a missed opportunity. And I think from a big picture standpoint, you look at Eli Drinkwitz's tenure in Columbia and you go, who's the quarterback you've brought in? And people might go, well, Brady Cook. Well, Brady Cook was a Barry Odom recruit. And who is the quarterback you have effectively developed? Because you did have Luther Burden, and, I think we would agree, solid, but didn't necessarily blow you away. And so from a big picture standpoint, if Eli Drinkwitz is sticking around, and this is what Gabe DeArmond wrote about following the game, the major element of the football team that has to be tended to is quarterback. And is the 2026 Missouri quarterback on the roster right now, or is that somebody that's going to have to be tended to through the portal?
You're going to need to improve the offensive line, too. I mean, the first drive, they looked great, marching right down the field. And I kept thinking, what's going to happen? Something's going to go wrong here. Then they got the holding call, had to settle for the awkward-looking field goal. And then they didn't get much going the entire rest of the game after that drive.
And was it the Alabama game where they had the great opening drive? And you just start to wonder, okay, and we know this from watching football for years, that first drive is scripted. And they say, oh, wow, look how good they were. And then after that is when you have to sort of improvise and adjust.
The worst offense Missouri faced this year actually was not Oklahoma. It was Auburn. And if you recall in that game, Auburn marched down the field with their first scripted drive. And then after that, couldn't do a damn thing. So lending itself to another team to compare, that would be an example of another team in the SEC with a dreadful offense. Your thoughts on the topic, 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service. Text inbox. Also talk it over in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, youtube.com/TMA STL. Subscribe to the TMA STL YouTube channel, and you're welcome to call in 314-974-0101. It's TMA, presented by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN. guess this gives us some perspective.
Yeah.
It's TMA 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program, and you're welcome to be a part of the show by calling in, texting in, or talking it over in the TMA STL channel. That's youtube.com/TMA STL channel. Hunter KK5BD is talking to Kitty Bates B2J and Jeremy Hodge 5986. I don't know why people have decided to add numbers to their names, but that is what we now have in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. You can talk it over in there as well with other TMA listeners. Talking college football and talking blues. Chris Kerber with us on the Stiefel Dossier. That is coming your way at 8:15. The Blues winning on Saturday afternoon, and the Blues are coming tra-la.
Gave up a 6-on-5 goal. Did you think, Doug, here we go. Here we go again.
Of course they did. Yeah.
Then they had a 6-on-4 for a while with the penalty.
How can you not think that way? Every time the Blues get a lead, you just sit back. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. But not this time. And now if we can just get hot, we can make a run at 6th place.
Nice. For the record, the Blues now sitting at 20 points, and the wild card spot is 5 points away with Utah, who will be in St. Louis this coming Saturday. Here is Jim Montgomery following the win on Saturday.
For sure.
Well, I felt great. I think that, the boys played really hard. It's 3 games in a row in this trip where, we could be undefeated, but we haven't been. But we've been resilient. We keep believing. We keep playing the right way. We got rewarded for it.
Okay. Got rewarded. Yeah.
That would have been devastating. Had they lost that, Tim, I probably would have declared the season over.
You would have announced the season's over?
Yes,
declared it?
With another 2-goal lead. In that fashion, goalie pulled, I would have just, that's it. But Bennington had 30 saves. The goaltending has been better. This is going to sound a little rights holder.
Oh, you're about to hold some?
And we do not get memos here saying must hold rights, even though we are the mothership. On this trip, if they had beaten Toronto and lost to Philly, or beaten Philly, lost to Toronto, and then won the Islander game, you'd say, they've taken 2 out of 3. Pretty good trip. Points-wise, that's the exact same thing. Tim, they have 4 out of a possible 6 points. There's my rights holder's take on this little trip, which now rolls into Madison Square Garden tonight.
And faces off against one of the worst teams in the NHL, except they have more points than the Blues, the New York Rangers.
So there's
a 4-game losing streak.
They are terrible. They're 1-7-1 at home. The Rangers have been really bad at home, and it reminds me every time I see an event there. I've never been to Madison Square. I gotta go to Papers. Let's go to a Knicks game.
Ben, it's awesome.
Ben, sorry, never mind. Tim, let's go to a Knicks game.
I'll go again.
Nope, never mind.
Again.
You shot it down.
Park?
Where do you park?
Yes. I like free parking.
In Midtown Manhattan?
Yes, where do I park?
Anywhere you can fit, man. I don't drive.
Don't drive.
I was about to say, you don't even...
I like to drive.
It's right by Penn Station, the bus station there. So.
Yeah, it's under Madison Square Garden.
Right. So take a bus.
Where do I park to get to the subway?
Secaucus?
Yeah, go to Jersey, park in a parking lot in Jersey, and then take the train or bus into the city.
I would park in Kirkwood and just commute.
Yeah. Kirkwood, Amtrak, PTA style. You're right there. PT's and A's. You want some Money Puck updated numbers, Tim?
Doug, these are Jackson's Money Puck updated numbers for the Blues making the playoffs, and also for the Blues winning the Stanley Cup. Money Puck last week declared the Blues' chances of making the playoffs at 3.8%, and their chances of winning the Stanley Cup at 0.0%.
Yep. And as we stand today, November the 24th, Blues 6.1% chance to make the playoffs.
Here we go.
Look at this.
And that's there is now a crooked number with the cup, 0.1%.
Nice.
Yes.
So we're almost the favorites.
And then yeah, I don't see why not. The Rangers only have a 29% chance to make the playoffs, so it doesn't scare me.
They have a 29% chance?
That's what it says here.
Wow. Hell, they have 2 more points than the Blues.
I guess it's a soft East.
You know who's in trouble is Craig Berube. They are not happy with him in Toronto. And, of course, they got the win against the Blues last week. And he said their team's performance is inexcusable after they got beaten up by the Canadiens. And there is talk of Craig Berube getting fired in Toronto. Would be a very quick stay for the Stanley Cup winning coach of the St. Louis Blues.
They're in dead last place in the Atlantic Division of the Eastern Conference. They've only got one more point than the Blues. I could run a Vaughn index real quick here.
What do you got?
Let's see.
Timmy did it the other day, and the point total was the same as the Vaughn index.
Well, that works that way sometime. 20. Vaughn index, the Blues are at 20.
That's their point total, man.
Is it? So it works again.
It is.
That's how accurate this thing is. A lot of teams are using it to figure out just how well they're doing.
They call. Doug's late for the show because he's wiring all these teams their updated Vaughn index.
I'm happy to provide the service.
We'll see if the Blues can carry the momentum over from Saturday to tonight against the Fighting Ranger. Pregame here on 101 ESPN, 5 p.m. Puck drop at 6 p.m. And Jackson and I guess, who's in the group chat last night where we got a cute little picture?
Ooh, yeah. That was you, me, Jeremy Rutherford, and Joe Vitale. And it was
just a picture of Joe Vitale eating.
Kind of
like a date night in Midtown.
Sitting there in Manhattan eating. And
so they're dating. I don't know if
really.
I don't know what the arrangements are,
Listen, that's a table I'd love to be at.
Is that right?
JR and Joey.
The more popular MMM?
Yeah, that's 3 horsemen right there.
And what restaurant were they at?
I don't know. Looked nice.
Could I park there?
Yeah, you could park right there.
I like parking.
Run.
The idea of you trying to find a parking spot in Manhattan
a great video.
Great video. Would be awesome.
Good morning, guys. Today is the last Monday you cannot bet sports in Missouri. That's from the Hunchback of Vaughn. And listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd.
I saw a lot of people taking pictures going across the bridge this weekend saying the final voyage.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Where do you see these pictures? Is this the Twitter tweets?
My friends.
Oh. Private Citizen Pete?
No, not Private Citizen Pete.
Oatmeal?
MPK.
MPK.
Oatmeal lives in D.C. I don't know what the deal is in D.C. I think it's legal sports gambling there. I just assume it's legalized everywhere else. I know Florida and California it's not, but pretty much everywhere else it seems like it is.
Screw the Blues. I'm with Jackson. Sell them and give me the NBA. That's from Little Beer Cats. I guess he's back in town. We thought he went to Ole Miss, but he goes to Murray State, I guess, and he has like a cuck chair there.
Yeah, he was bragging about it.
In his dorm room?
Good on him. Yeah. I mean, every hotel has one.
Most dorm rooms don't.
No, not enough room.
That's customized.
Not enough room. Was your dorm real small at the...
Yes, it was the bunk bed freshman year. Like a little shoebox.
Oh, nice.
And everybody had a little microwave. And
yes.
What's a little, not a Bunsen burner, but the little thing.
Hot plate.
But you could drop it in the water. I'm sure it was very safe.
I like a Bunsen burner. Stole from the chemistry lab.
Wasn't doing any Walter White work, but I forget what it was. It was a little, what do you call that? That would drop into the water like a little prong. It would heat it up. It was electrical. Jail. Felt like it.
You're dropping a plug into water, and that's how you're heating up your ramen?
What's it called?
Little Beer Cat's cuck stool says it's a cuck stool, not a chair.
Oh,
so he's not happy.
I need a backrest.
Let's see. Daddy Padre texting from, I guess, the morning skate at Madison Square Garden. Says the thing is the NHL is just bad this year. Watered down product from expansion from the Olympic condensed schedule. No team is truly standing out besides Colorado, and we will see how that fares in the playoffs with their goalies. That's from Dada.
Colorado is 16-1-5. Won 9 in a row. I think you get the sense that no one's standing out if the league is down just because how poorly the Blues have played.
What about the Avalanche and the Rams winning their respective league championships to give Stan Kroenke
I don't like it.
more championships?
Yeah. Sickens me. Almost as much as those Oklahoma uniforms.
Oh.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
What color were they?
When Mizzou plays Oklahoma, I want to see Oklahoma. I want to see the red. That's what I want to see. Whoever designed that needs to be severely demoted. You can't come up with that.
Not just demoted. Severely demoted.
Drop down to a junior level position. How do you come up with that? And then everyone agrees. Yeah, let's go for it.
Well, that was the unity that was on the back of every...
I really need that on the back of it. Because most of the time I'm thinking, gosh, I like disunity. Gosh, if we could only have less unity. But when I saw that on the back of their jerseys, now I thought, you know what? Now I'm in favor of unity. Thank God they wore that. Stupid.
Jackson, what do you think of Missouri's uniforms?
I didn't mind them.
They were awful, too.
I like the helmet. I thought the helmet.
This is what happened. Doug was screaming at the uniforms all day Saturday.
Yeah, just couldn't take it.
That's what happened to your voice because you were screaming at the uniform.
Maybe that's what it was. Put a black helmet on that Mizzou uniform. Maybe it's okay.
Then you got Chase Daniel at Armageddon and Arrowhead. That's that. And then you got the Block M. You got the Block M.
That'd be fine.
They wore a Block M. It was a Block M. It was just a white Block M with a gold M.
Trying to look like LSU.
And then the gold pants. Well, LSU rarely wears the white helmet. I thought they looked good. I thought Missouri looked good. I did not like Oklahoma's, but that's because I love seeing Oklahoma at home in their kind of crimson red uniforms that look so sharp to me. Beautiful logo.
So much tradition, so much history, and you come out with
I believe it's to honor the veterans, but
you can do it another way.
I would generally agree. We talked a second ago about Kroenke and the Avalanche and the Rams maybe winning a championship. I hate to say it, but Arsenal's at the top of the table in the Premier League.
No, Doug.
And the Nuggets aren't far behind in the West.
For some reason, they have Sean McVay. We had Scott Linehan. They have Matthew Stafford. We had Scott Livingston. Or what was his name? Scott Covington.
Scott
Covington.
They don't have Janoris Jenkins.
Okay.
That was ours.
The doo-doo man.
He could possibly get a grand slam this year, win titles in all those sports.
I guess, yeah. I would short some of it. I don't think Arsenal or the Nuggets are going to win it all, but you never know.
Nuggets are good.
Yep.
Oh, breaking news from 101 ESPN executive producer Mike Ryder for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling Email of the Day today. We are giving away a pair of tickets to Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
How about that? Guns N' Roses just announcing that they will be playing at Busch Stadium next year, and that is the prize for today. 101 ESPN has your shot to score a pair of tickets to Guns N' Roses on August 16th at Busch Stadium. Tickets for the show go on sale next Friday, December 5th at 10 a.m., but we have your chance right now to win free tickets to Guns N' Roses. Find all the concert information and a bonus chance to win the tickets at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app. So that is the prize for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling Email of the Day. All you got to do is email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. That comes your way at approximately 10:45 here on TMA. Chris Kerber with us at 8:15. Gabe DeArmond with us at 9 o'clock. There is your Stiefel dossier. This is TMA on 101 ESPN. Michael's Flooring has been family and locally owned for over 30 years. Michael takes great pride in helping and making sure his employees are happy and make a great living. You can go online and right now get 3 samples free from Proximity Mills. His passion is flooring, and when you order from him, he wants you to have the best experience for the best price. That's why he's making sure he gets the best installers and giving them $7 a square yard, which is incredible compensation in this industry. Just come in or talk to them, and you're going to see the difference. They want to make sure they suggest the best thing for you, not pushing what corporate's telling them they have too much of. There is a reason he has continued to grow through the 31 years. Employees love working for him as they feel like family, and he makes sure they're taken care of. And this then rubs off to the families buying the product as they know they have the best interests of the buyers at heart. They have it all, but carpet's awesome, and it's back. They have so many varieties of all flooring, and they have 3 easy-to-get-to locations in St. Louis, and Creve Coeur, Darden Prairie, and St. Peters. Come see why people are loving getting floored by Michael, and make sure you visit igotfloored.com.
Hey, this is Jackson with the Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Wandoff Chevrolet and Johnny Wandoff Autoplex. The Blues get back in the win column on Saturday afternoon, defeating the New York Islanders. They're going to be back in action this evening as they head to Manhattan to take on the New York Rangers. The pregame is going to start at 5 p.m., puck drop at 6 p.m. right here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. That was another Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Wandoff Chevrolet and Johnny Wandoff Autoplex. See them at wandoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Paul Simon's aging as badly as I am.
Wow.
Was that one of Gabe's voicemails?
Tiger Terry.
Tiger Terry.
I didn't make it all the way through the calls, although I do enjoy it. Somebody dropped an S-bomb early on, and they're just like, whatever.
The program is called The Morning After. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program. Little Jackie Papers on the ones and twos. Chairman Kurt Mans, the Collier and Thompson phone lines. 314-974-0101 is how you can call in to the program. 314-399-9646 is how you can text in to the program. It's brought to you by Air Comfort Service. And then we also welcome you to talk it over with other TMA listeners in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, youtube.com/TMASTL. I have to tell you, I think one of the biggest stories in St. Louis sports, which is in part a reflection of the state of St. Louis sports, but also something that is going to fly under the radar unless we bring it up, and that is what St. Louis University's soccer team has done. They came back to beat Kentucky to advance to take on the Indiana Hoosiers yesterday in Bloomington, and they beat Indiana 1-0. Thank you.
1-0.
To advance. And Doug, do you want to take a guess who they are playing next?
How about UCLA?
Nope.
Can I have initials, please?
B.
Bridgeton.
It's not going to help.
Bridgeton got in.
It's not going to help.
Bridgeton lost.
Baldwin. If it's not Bridgeton, it's Baldwin.
Nope. Baldwin also.
It'd be easier travel if they were playing ball.
Second letter, please.
R.
Britain. They're playing Britain. That'll be tough.
World Cup preview.
Yeah.
SLU versus Britain.
Britain, yeah. That'll be a tough one. Third letter, please.
Why?
Why? Brian Denny. They're playing Brian Denny. Isn't that a stadium?
At the stadium.
Brynwall.
Bryn Smith.
Bryn. It's Bryn something, isn't it?
Nope.
Brian.
Nope.
Brian Cave. They're playing a law firm.
Playing a law.
Well, they should win that one.
Yeah, you'd think.
Fourth letter, please.
A.
Brian. Brianna.
Brianna Banks. She's got a team.
Fifth letter, please. N.
Yes.
How about the sixth letter?
T.
Brian Tillman. Who's Brian Tillman? It's when did he get good in soccer? Next letter, please.
That's it.
You got it.
Brian
You got it.
That was
Bryant.
easy. Okay.
They're playing Bryant.
Martin, that game will take place on Sunday, November 30th at 3 p.m. Central in Smithfield, Rhode Island. So we are working with Hubbard Corporate to do a remote and a pre- and post-game show from Smithfield, Rhode Island.
Wouldn't you think it could be really cold in late November in Rhode Island?
Yeah, I would imagine it will be.
Possibly snow and ice on the field?
Yeah.
Is that how you want to determine the soccer champion?
Oh, what do you want to? Oh, here we go. He's going to want it played in the dome, Tim.
I want it indoors.
Indoor.
Or in a warm weather city.
Why don't they just wear Steamers uniforms and bang it off the boards again and have indoor? So this is outdoor soccer, son.
Well, played in the fall. Played in the summer and the fall.
That's what I love about high school football, college soccer, all these where you start in the summer and just it's hotter and blazes. And then if you extend your season far enough, Doug, you got to deal with the elements.
I'm with you, Martin.
That's part of the beauty of it. Keep advancing. Weather is a factor, but they won at Indiana. They had not done that since 1999. And then they were 0-6 against Indiana all time in the NCAA tournament. So good for them. Pulling out the dub on there. I believe the dish was there, Brian Kunderman.
I mean, you got the Billikens in basketball. Going to get a little test against Santa Clara on Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to watching that. People are talking about the Billikens. I like this. And then the Billikens in soccer advancing to the Sweet 16, where they will take on, you said it's Brian Tillman who they're playing?
I think so. Or Brian Cave.
And that is at 3 p.m. on Sunday in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Hello again, everybody.
Okay.
I think we talked about Bryant because they played UMass in football. I feel like we looked up Bryant because we
were
knew
doing some
nothing.
recon.
Yes. I think it was related to Mizzou's powerful non-conference schedule when they played UMass.
The foliage. The battle of the foliage. If the Billikens are able to get past Bryant, who won their first ever NCAA soccer game yesterday by beating Seton Hall, the Billikens would take on the winner of Duke and Akron to go to the Final Four.
I think a bunch of the top seeds have already been knocked out, so it's wide open. Let's do this. Let's get on a little run here. Let's win this.
Do you think Joe Buck's all mad because his Hoosiers lost?
I could see that.
Probably absolutely livid.
Yeah.
I could see that. Your thoughts are welcome by texting in 314-399-9646. Did we talk about the Junior Bills winning state and high school soccer? That's from former fan page moderator Neil Allen Craig Paquette. Doug, the Billikens, Junior Billikens, defeating previously undefeated Rockhurst on Saturday at Soccer Park to win back-to-back state championships. Your final there, 1-0.
Of course.
Oh, so you watched the game?
No, they're almost always 1-0.
Did they thank you in their post-game celebration?
It kind of goes without saying.
Yeah, I think.
And the most important thing is that 4 St. Gabriel's grads were on that St. Louis U High team. So it's, again, just that pipeline.
Did you try out for soccer when you were at SLU?
No, I was too busy getting cut from the football team.
Oh, that took a lot of your time, did it?
They give out a trophy. It's still called the Jimmy. It's a life-size trophy. They hand it out. Back-to-back. Ebby Dunn never did that, Tim. You get back-to-back for the Junior Bills.
You must have played as a kid, though, didn't you?
Sure, at St. Gabriel's.
Yeah, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. South City soccer, getting in fights with the Our Lady of Sorrows and St. Ambrose kids. Got the Irish against the Italians. Sure,
really?
Absolutely.
Did you wear Sambas, the indoor shoe? Did you wear
I
those
never got into that.
To grade school?
I never got into that.
I never owned Samba, and even if you didn't play soccer, it was like the cool shoe for a while.
So
did
you were a Sambas guy? Papers?
No, I have very flat feet. Not great for that. Not great for the flat feet community. Not to mention, I never liked them.
It's a whole community, Tim. The flat feet community.
I never liked them aesthetically. And
I think they look kind of cool.
Nah, not for me.
Okay.
Not for me personally, but I was wearing basketball shoes. That was what was popular when I was a kid. I was wearing basketball shoes everywhere.
Well, they're not happy with us because we're not surprised that the Billikens won. You guys sound surprised. The winningest NCAA soccer championship team's doing well.
Okay. Don't bark at us. We're in no mood today, mister.
Thank you, Doug.
Well, it's a nice short week, holiday week. Come on, guys. Papers have got things loaded up. I'm going to listen all day Thursday and Friday.
I wouldn't.
Oh, no.
Wow.
What'd you put in there?
Strong endorsement.
How about little Jackie Papers? You know he's going to be celebrating his 5th anniversary on this show in December. We have all kinds of celebrities lined up for the 5th anniversary show.
It's going to be a who's who.
And now he's getting comfortable. He's getting comfortable, and I like it.
Yeah, I'd love you to listen, but, just know what you're getting.
Which is what, not much?
A lot of interviews.
Okay. That sounds good.
The interviews. The Mozeliak stuff, that'll definitely be in there.
Good, yeah. That makes sense.
A little three-parter. But, yeah, I mean, it's Thanksgiving,
Well, I think what you've said so far sounds interesting to me. If I didn't hear it at the time, I would say, I wouldn't flip the channel.
I will say it will be available for your podcasting pleasure as well.
Okay.
In case you want to fire that up and you can't listen live.
If you guys keep talking soccer, I will off myself. Thanks, and Anyang. That's from Brian Henshin, who says, #free perk.
Yeah. We spent about 5 minutes on it.
SLU's only 2 losses on the season were against Indiana and Akron. Thanks. That's from the 314.
When I was in high school, soccer was a winter sport.
People disputed that. When you said that, people texted, but I have heard the same thing.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sure you would know.
You guys running around in shorts and T-shirts playing. playing winter soccer.
Do you think it's because they were playing football and then they had like the same athletes played both?
Yes,
Same field.
Crestwood Coyote, I believe this is a shot at Missouri fans, but I could be off the mark. Guys, I want you to take note that Billiken fans are not delusional and think a championship is on the table every season. That's from the Crestwood Coyote.
Mazel tov.
I don't know.
Favors.
I think they aim pretty high at St. Louis U soccer every year.
Every fan base should aim high.
Yeah. Well, they do at St. Louis U. They take soccer extremely
As they
seriously.
should.
Yeah.
Fire up
if you're a
Pelicans, fire up Tigers.
SLU basketball fan this year, you're thinking you're going to make the tournament.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen, you're highly disappointed, but you should be thinking that way.
Every season you should be thinking that way.
Now, I've got Marquette in the NIT, and they could disappoint me, but it happens.
TMA should have a roast of Jackson for his 5th anniversary on the show. Set him up in a cuck chair and just let him have it. That's from Eric, and he's in the Central West End. I think Eric would show up for that.
Yeah, I'm sure people would.
Sounds awfully familiar to every day.
Yeah, what do I get out of it is what it seems like to me.
Have at it, Hank. This is a soccer town now. Go back to your high school reporting. That's from the Veiled Prophet, who's not happy with Brian Henshin, who wasn't happy that we were talking about soccer.
Are there guys who kick with both legs?
Yes, there are. We've established that.
I agree with my brother. Mizzou football and basketball fans are delusional. That's from Eric in the Central West End, whose brother is the Crestwood Coyote, and their father played Native American ball with Doug.
Indian ball, we called it. It was a year-round sport.
Go on.
No, pretty much.
Yeah, get the SLU soccer talk in. Most NCAA tournament wins, but last one was 1973. Must have been winning their 10 titles when they only had about 4 or 6 teams in the tournament. That's from Ian LaPerriere, who's not happy with the texter, who wasn't happy with us for being happy for the Billikens.
It sounds like people are unhappy that the Billikens have continued to advance in the tournament because that means we might spend 5 minutes talking about it.
I think that's a correct assessment of where things are.
Why don't you tell us what you want to talk about?
We're welcoming you. Can we talk about the skeleton? There you go, Martin.
Okay.
That's from Jackson's butt fro. Boy, Jackson doesn't want to talk about the skeleton.
I'll talk about it.
I mean, I offered you $5,000.
Yeah.
And you actually took the $5,000.
Yeah.
I thought you would bail on the skeleton. What if it was 1,000? Would you
1,000, I'd probably bail on this. I don't know. That's a tough one. That would put me more to the test. $5,000. I can't turn down $5,000.
Right.
What are you, a millionaire? You don't like money?
Why aren't we talking about the Billiken swimming and diving team yet? That's from Hooterville Regional's chief parading officer. Man.
You ever go to a swim meet? It's so humid in there.
That off.
A lot. This reek of
Could
chlorine.
be the water.
Yeah, no, I get the reason why. It's just, it doesn't make for the most comfortable viewing experience.
As a parent, probably more fun sitting at the football game. Little blanket, whatever.
Well, yeah, because it's tough to tell which kid's yours in the pool. You got to go by, what color is their cap?
We'll take your prep swimming calls.
Yeah, 314-974-0101. The presentation presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Brown and Crouppen, local, founded in 1979. Don't you want a local law firm if you're in need of a personal injury attorney, one that knows how to handle the ins and outs of your case and the local environment? They're going to provide you with superior legal services, and you know that they are right here in town because on Tuesdays we have Ed Herman or Andy Crouppen or Terry Crouppen in studio with us. 314-222-2222 or go online at brownandcrouppen.com. After an accident, money can be tight. That's why they offer so much for free. First call, free. First consultation, free. Stuck at home or the hospital, they come to you for free. At Brown and Crouppen, you pay nothing up front, and they don't get paid unless you get paid. Support the sponsors, and Brown and Crouppen is the title sponsor of the Morning After and signed up for all of 2026 as well. If you think you may need Brown and Crouppen services, call 314-222-2222 or go to brownandcrouppen.com. Make sure you let them know you heard about them on TMA. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising. Past results are no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own accord. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program. It is TMA, presented by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
A couple of days left to prepare for Thanksgiving. If you have not stocked up yet, there's still time because right now Schnucks is offering you the best savings on that turkey, the best lowest price in 15 years. Rolling it back to 2010. Right now through Wednesday, the 26th, get that whole frozen turkey for just 57 cents per pound. You probably don't keep track year to year what the price per pound is, but they do, and that's the lowest price in 15 years. That means you can save big on the Thanksgiving centerpiece. Serve your whole family no matter how many guests you've got coming over. To get this deal, you just need to make a $25 purchase, not including the price of the turkey. Limit one per customer. Prices vary by store. And, of course, they'll always have savings on so many other items to help you serve a great Thanksgiving meal. In those weeks leading up to the holiday, you can stock up now. It's just days to get ready for Thanksgiving. Be sure to check out the weekly ads as well so you don't miss out on any of the deals. So for all your Thanksgiving needs, if you haven't stocked up yet, now's the time to do it at Schnucks. Saving money through Wednesday on that frozen turkey. This Thanksgiving, head to Schnucks for all your feast essentials.
TMA is brought to you by St. Louis-based Stifel, a leading wealth management and investment banking firm. Stifel is the firm where success meets success and has been since 1890. Historic company founded in downtown St. Louis in 1890. Same street the company is headquartered on today. Proud to have called St. Louis home for 135 years now. They are all over town. They partner with the Cardinals, the Blues, and now the Stifel Charity Classic, and they also sponsor Stifel Theater. Stifel is honored to support the city, the people, and its future with financial advisors in 12 offices across the region. Stifel helps clients here in St. Louis and nationwide manage their hard-earned wealth. Stifel also provides banking, lending, and trust services, and is a full-service investment bank. Basically, when it comes to finance, Stifel has you covered. As one of the fastest-growing wealth management firms in the world, their tagline is, where success meets success. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
TMA 101 ESPN. Doug is going to head home with his voice conditions. Tim McKernan, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program. Little Jackie Papers on the ones and twos. Chairman Curtin Manning, the Callier and Thompson phone lines. It is 8 o'clock in St. Louis. And the 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Fisher Window and Door Store. And we are grateful for their support. And they also are back on board for all of 2026 with the morning after. We welcome you to participate in the program, calling in Callier and Thompson phone lines, 314-974-0101. Text in the Air Comfort Service text inbox, 314-399-9646. And you can open up your YouTube app, type in TMA STL, subscribe to the channel, and talk it over with Libby Jackie DiCaprio, who Jackson, I see, has an Arkansas avatar this week.
Hey, he's nothing if not consistent.
AJM57, Too Fat to Kayak, RB, STL, and Bourbon Bob. They're all in there, and they're all talking it over. 242 friends gathered in the TMA STL YouTube channel and talking it over. Martin, we have so much fun with audio before Chris Kerber joins us coming up at 8:15. Jackson, what do you want to go with? I mean, you've been using the shears all weekend. You came in yesterday to cut up audio. What do you have? We will follow your lead.
The one I found to be the funniest is Brian Kelly's son, Kenzel Kelly.
Martin, did
What's
you
his
see
name?
this?
Kenzel?
Yeah, Kenzel.
Kenzel
That's
Kelly.
a combination of Ken and Hazel.
And so LSU won on Saturday, Martin. They beat Western Kentucky.
Oh, I imagine they beat the hell out of them.
Right, you'd think.
Took him to the woodshed.
For sure, 13-10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They didn't quite cover?
The Tiger Stadium. Yeah, 13-10. And Kenzel Kelly was wearing a shirt under his jersey that said "Free BK," and was caught on the camera following the game, and it was really, really
Here's
funny.
Kenzel.
There you go.
Go Tigers! Long live BK! Long, free my boy! Free my boy BK! You know who?
Do you ever call your dad your boy?
No, never did.
Is that Tommy Hart?
It's unbelievable.
Was that Tommy Hart?
Let's take one more listen and see.
Go Tigers! Long live BK! Long, free my boy! Free my boy BK! You know who?
Do you ever call your dad your boy?
No, never did.
Maybe. Not sure. So the kid's still on the team. It would be a little awkward if your dad gets fired. And I have no idea, and this is totally unfair, but I wonder if he's only on the team because his dad was the coach. I don't know.
It's funny you say
But
that.
that happens sometimes.
Whoa, and whoa.
So that was a TikTok, and the first comment, the most liked comment under it was, "Free up that roster spot, Nepo baby."
Nepo baby. It's a little awkward, yeah. Free BK. Dad's like, it's okay. We're getting 50 million or 30 million, depending on the day.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up, Martin, because the LSU board sent notice to Brian Kelly of termination on Friday. Now, you might be aware that he was not coaching the program for the last 3
a month and a half ago.
weeks. The move, which is the university's first action since Kelly sued the board on November 10th, was discussed during a closed-door executive session. And according to the publication The Advocate, LSU board member Johnny Carpouche asked the board to authorize the chancellor in consultation with general counsel to review and, if appropriate, send Brian Kelly written notice of termination under his employment agreement.
Sounds like they may have mucked up the original dismissal, and now they're trying to clean it up a little bit.
The best is there will be a paper trail, much of which is public already, of their offers of $30 million for him as a buyout. Then when he didn't take it, now they're officially terminating him. Good luck to LSU and their attorneys. They're going to have some fun. While over the next few days, they determine who their next coach is. Jackson, who do you think is going to LSU?
Man, that's such a good question. Because I guess if I had to bet, you have to bet on some person being hired, I would bet on Lane Kiffin, but I don't do that with confidence at all. I don't do that with I wouldn't want to be at LSU in the slightest. They are obviously in the midst of this change of power. You know that your expectations are going to be immediate considering they have had a bad season. Again, they just beat Western Kentucky 13-10, and they had Kenzel Kelly saying free BK out there.
Free my boy.
By the way, Kenzel transferred from Grand Valley State.
Yes, it looks like he has one solo tackle in his career.
Like Rudy.
Yeah, very similar. None at LSU. And I would say that, like, I just...
If you're Lane, though, are you looking at that and saying, boy, that's a hot mess down there?
Right, that's what I would think. But hot messes can still pay you really well and give you all the resources you need. But considering how bad of a year they're having this year, next season's expectations are through the roof. Do you necessarily want that? I don't know. I don't live inside the mind of Lane Kiffin.
Well, Ole Miss got together with Lane on Friday. Now, remember, there was a report from Stuart Mandel of The Athletic, along with other outlets, saying that Ole Miss had given him an ultimatum, that he had to make a decision. Again, I don't really know what the ultimatum could have been about, considering you cannot make an employee sign a contract extension and then terminate them if they don't, especially when they have 5 years left on their contract. So that always struck me as strange. Lane Kiffin went on Pat McAfee's show and said the ultimatum thing was not true. So they get together on Friday. I think Ole Miss fans were hopeful that there would be an announcement immediately saying that Lane Kiffin was sticking around, but instead they got this. Coach Kiffin and I have had many pointed and positive conversations regarding his future at Ole Miss, including meeting today with Chancellor Boyce. That's from the athletic director of Ole Miss. While we discuss next steps, we know we cannot lose sight of what is most important, our 6th-ranked team that is poised to finish the regular season in historic fashion. Despite the outside noise, Coach Kiffin is focused on preparing our team for the Egg Bowl, and together we want to ensure that our players and coaches can concentrate fully on Friday's game. This team is on the cusp of an unprecedented season, and it's imperative they feel the support of Ole Miss family in the week ahead. An announcement on Coach Kiffin's future is expected the Saturday following the game. So, Ole Miss fans immediately go, oh my God, he's going to coach against Mississippi State in Starkville on Friday, and then we'll announce that he is going to either LSU or Florida on Saturday. And so if Ole Miss is to win, an assistant, Joe Judge, most likely, who's an assistant at Ole Miss right now, will coach them in what would be a home playoff game. And if they are to lose, I wonder if Ole Miss gets into the playoff, in part because, just like Florida State 2 years ago, the same team that got to that record would not be the same team that would be in the playoff. In Florida State's case, it was their quarterback. In Ole Miss's case, it would be their head coach.
It sucks for the fans. Ole Miss, you're having this great year.
Unprecedented for that program.
And you should be so fired up. Wow, we're never in the mix with the big boys. All of a sudden now we've got a shot at potentially being a national champion. There's a reasonable thought that it could happen.
Sure.
And yet all you're thinking about, all you're hearing about is the coach who's led you to this point could be out the door. And he very well could be. Stephen A. was laughing and everybody saying, he's gone. He's gone. And he's had every opportunity. Much, and we said this about Drinkwitz, too. You can end the talk if you want to. If you want it with some sincerity. You can say, I'm absolutely not leaving. He's not said that. And because this keeps playing out this way, I feel like he is leaving because there's been so much noise that hasn't really been refuted. And the whole family going to Baton Rouge, I don't know what that was about. But if
really
it just stinks for Ole Miss fans because how often is Ole Miss in the conversation for something like that? I mean, never. I mean, that's just and all of a sudden it's not even about this team having this opportunity. That's what stinks about the way this works in college football. The coaches have all the juice. They make all this money. It's always about the coach in college football. It's unbelievable.
So if Ole Miss were to lose in Starkville on Friday, the ire directed toward Lane Kiffin, if then on Saturday he leaves and then Ole Miss misses out on the college football playoff, which is a possibility. I mean, I'm not saying that I want to make this clear. I'm not saying it is a likelihood, but it is a possibility. Mississippi State did go to overtime with Tennessee, Texas, and beat Arizona State. That all happened in Starkville. Again, I'm not saying I expect it, But you have this drama playing out. Lane Kiffin would go down as one of the most hated people ever in Ole Miss and SEC football history.
Yeah, I think nationally his stock would plummet. I mean, obviously he'd be getting a new job. That would not be a problem for him. But like in terms of the national cultural opinion on him would be like someone who not only left but then salted the earth on his way out. Because you're right, they wouldn't get into the playoff because like, well, you don't have your head coach and you just lost to Mississippi State. Oh my God.
And if they lose
That's
that
gonna be
game,
nightmares.
the narrative would be that they were distracted. He wasn't locked in. He didn't have his mind on beating Mississippi State.
But that would pale in comparison to the feeling you would have of, boy, we were one game away from going to a college football playoff, and now our coach is left and we're not going.
If they lose Friday and he leaves Saturday, the hate he will get from Ole Miss fans will make the hate he got from Tennessee schlubs look G-rated. That's from Al in Dadeville, and he loves the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, that would be unprecedented style of distaste.
College football is like Jersey Shore with drama, drama, drama. Why is it so hard to wait until February to do transfers and coaching hires? That's from the Prince of Glendale. Devil's advocate Lane Kiffin hasn't won any playoffs or natties yet, and he's the golden goose. That's from Mongo. And Arbor Day, two-time TMA Texter of the Year. I love LSU's approach, though. It's the athletic department equivalent of the crazy ex throwing your clothes on the front lawn. It's great theater. That is from Arbor Day. And Steven Times says whoever pays Lane $13 million a year, a guy who is unloyal and never won anything, will surely regret it. It will play out here over the next 5 days, and it is going to be magical. You go from a college football weekend that really didn't have much.
Nothing.
I mean, USC and Oregon.
Yeah, but even that didn't have the same amount of...
Well, it did, because on the FanDuel spread zone, Jackson, you got the lock of the week.
Was it Ducks?
From, it was the over.
Ah, yeah. What was that, 59.5?
67% on the locks. I got to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
It was 59.5. I was like, what am I missing here?
Yeah, points.
Yeah. I think they played some of the random Big Ten schools who don't really score, and so it made it look like their offenses weren't good, but neither one has defenses. And Oregon could still get left out.
Yeah.
Alabama could still get left out.
Yeah.
Notre Dame could still get left out. There's all kinds of crap that's going
is
on.
Oregon
Oregon's in Seattle at Washington.
That's not going to.
I'm telling you.
That is no easy game.
I'm telling you.
That's
you got these rivalry games this weekend.
Yep.
Alabama and Auburn, and that was also a play. I had Auburn minus 29.5 against Mercer. Random, I know, but I'm like, DJ Durkin is trying to get that job, and so he is going to run it up, as ridiculous as it is. And Auburn's offense put up 64 points. So the Lane Kiffin impact on what goes on in Columbia is certainly substantial, and the fan bases around the SEC, Auburn, Florida, and LSU, are not necessarily thrilled with the idea of getting the consolation prize that is Eli Drinkwitz. Gabe DeArmond will join us at 9 o'clock to give us his perspective. He's brought to you by James Carlton. Coming up in the next segment, Chris Kerber with his thoughts on the Blues, who will take on the Rangers right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game, 5 p.m. tonight. Puck drop at 6 p.m. That comes your way from Madison Square Garden. Chris Kerber joining us. Coming up, it's TMA 101 ESPN.
Well, we got the Thanksgiving holiday this week. You know you want that house nice and comfortable when you got everybody in the family coming over. Classic Air Care wants to remind you that the number one thing you can do to keep that HVAC system in top shape is to change your air filter. But beyond that, professional preventative maintenance is the best way to avoid breakdowns. It extends your system's lifespan, and it keeps those energy bills in check. Frankly, it just keeps your house comfortable, so call Classic Air Care for a super tune-up. Now, they're also partnering with St. Louis Food Bank right now. So they are accepting food donations at the 3 main locations in Olivet, Afton, and O'Fallon. All the technicians are accepting donations when they come to your house as well, or you can donate online by going to justgiving.com and just search Classic Air Care. And Classic Air Care is going to be matching up to 10,000 meals. That's why I love working with companies like this, local companies that take care of you, but they also take care of our community. It's Classic Air Care. You can book an appointment online at classicaircare.com, or you can also call them as well. They'll answer the phone. It's Classic Air Care. They've been making people comfortable since 1926.
Welcome back to the Morning After, 101 ESPN, TMA STL YouTube channel. Tim McKernan, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program. Martin, Doug was here for the 7 o'clock hour, but he's experiencing a loss of his voice. And in an effort to get him right for tomorrow and Wednesday, and I know he loves going out on Thanksgiving. That's something that he's loved doing for years. Said, hey, you want to go home? Let's rest up. We'll get after it Wednesday. And we're starting, Jackson got a table for us at Wheelhouse for bottle service on Wednesday. So that'll be...
That's right.
People were texting that Doug was out of PTO, so he couldn't leave the studio. There was concern that it was Jamie Rivers who had morphed with Kermit. There was concerns that Doug had really become RFK Jr., Cookie Monster, all of the above. None of it true, but Doug is at home resting his voice.
That's exactly right. Joining us right now on the program on the Callier and Thompson phone lines here on the Morning After, 101 ESPN and TMA STL YouTube channel for his traditional Monday appearance is the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber. Morning, Kerbs.
Tim, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are things in New York City?
Things in New York are fantastic. Teams picking up some points, which is good. We'll head to the morning skate here in a little bit. But despite what all the news reports might seem to say, things seem pretty normal in New York. So all is good. All good.
You make reference to the Blues picking up some points. That is the case so far on this road trip. I mean, it's super unfortunate that they weren't able to get the wins, of course, in Toronto and Philadelphia, because then I think there would be greater buzz as to the improved play that we are seeing, and they'll have an opportunity to do it against a team that's certainly struggling tonight in the Rangers. What have you seen on this road trip that perhaps was not there before the Blues headed out to the East Coast?
Well, you know, if you actually look back over, the last stretch, the Blues actually have picked up points, in a good number of games. I mean, they're not finding ways to win the overtime games. 2-goal leads seem to make you nervous as all heck, right? But they're 4-3-5 with points in 9 of their last 12 games. And how different the standings look, even if you just get, say, 3 of those wins in overtime, right? And at that point in time, you're just sitting 3 points out of a playoff spot, and, you feel like you're right in the middle and thick of things rather than chasing it. So I think really the process and what we saw in the last 5 minutes of that game against the Islanders, where the Blues were able to lock it down, they were able to get the regulation win. They didn't surrender the 2-goal lead, and just kind of really battled out. I'm curious to see if that kind of momentum rolls over into this one, because tonight they're playing a Rangers team that has only won 1 of their first 9 games at home. and with for whatever reason, while being a really good road team, they're struggling at home. And I mean, just a chance just to continue this momentum and to build. And look, they're chasing it again. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, it's hard to really sometimes pinpoint whether or not the momentum is going to go from one game to the next. But it appears like it's building that way.
It seemed like that was massive on Saturday. Had they lost, that would have just been so devastating in light of how many times we've seen that with the 2-goal lead, the 6-on-5, and then in the end, a 6-on-4. I just think mentally, as much as these guys are paid and as strong as they are physically and mentally, I think that would have been demoralizing. And to kind of get over that little hump of winning that type of game, I just feel like that was huge.
You know what? They're 3-1-6, Martin, in 1-goal games, and that includes the 6 overtime losses, right? So I agree with you. I mean, look, you got a 2-goal lead again. They scored the first one when they pulled their goaltender, and you're like, oh, no. And then when that second one went in but was waved off for goalie interference, you're somewhat relieved, and then they were able to lock it down. But I gotta think you're absolutely right, Ted. Had that game gone the way like the Flyers game, the game before, or both Flyers games for that matter, and a few others, I think at that point, like mentally, this team probably just splits. I mean, that was just it would have been. So, but the good news is it wasn't, so we don't have to worry about it. And now you see, and I guess we all like to play. I don't think the athletes are quite into the sports psychology as much as fans and media members are, right? But the reality of it is you definitely hope that there's something that builds off of that momentum from that one.
Chris Kerber with us here on TMA. He joins us every Monday in the 8 o'clock hour to give us his thoughts on the Blues. Blues taking on the Rangers tonight, Madison Square Garden. Pregame 5 p.m., puck drop at 6 p.m. What is your analysis on the play of the goaltenders here as of late? That has been a development over the road trip as well.
Yeah, listen, I think the goaltending has been just fine. It's been terrific. I think you're getting some of those bigger saves you expected to get that you weren't getting at the beginning of the year. And the other thing too is you're just getting some bounces finally, Tim. We're seeing pucks now, like a puck went off of Tyler Tucker and then just past the post rather than into the net. We see it go off a pad, then off a post and out rather than off a pad, off a post and in. So they're kind of earning some of the bounces. I would tend to think that Joel Hofer probably gets the start tonight. I think the Blues are in a good rotation right now with these guys. And so, I could see them going Hofer tonight, back to Bennington against the Devils, back to, and then you've got the back-to-back on Friday and Saturday. So I'd expect both goalies to play there. But I think the goalies are getting the job done for this team right now, which is good. And, they just – it's weird this year because, you can sit there and say the goaltending numbers are awful. And is it really that simple? And then there's this player, there's that player. Like, there's just so many. And I just get the feeling like it's starting to kind of click and come together again.
I heard Montgomery say that Buchnevich is one of his best two-way forwards. And I did notice in that last minute, Buchnevich had a couple of block shots. Has he been able to, and not scoring enough has been a frustrating thing, I'm sure, for him and for fans. Are you seeing signs that he's able to kind of do other things?
I think he's probably played maybe 2 of his best games of the year on the last 2 games of this road trip, to be honest with you. And I actually thought, was pretty good in Toronto, too. So you get the feeling that goal that that elusive, even strength goal, and hell, even power play goal at this point, is going to come for him, Martin. But yeah, and that's. I also do think that's one of the reasons when fans are asking, well, we've seen him scratch Kyra. We've seen Thomas sit for a chunk of a period and things like that. And I just think Butch can impact the play in different ways, and Jim Montgomery knows that. So he's been on the upswing, and I think every single person on this team has been for that matter. And if that goal comes for him, holy smokes, will that finally give him a boost of confidence that he needs.
And he and Shen got together to get things going on Saturday. He made reference to the way he played in the second game of the road trip and then on Saturday afternoon on Long Island. So looking at that, what a development that would be for the Blues. And then you have what has been a positive since he came back up, and that was the play of Dalibor Dvorsky joining. What are you seeing from that line, Curbs?
Tim, I love the makeup of that line. And the reason I do is I love the fact that there's two veteran players on either side of Dvorsky. Now, again, we're going to see, Dalibor got his first assist of his career on that one, so that'll continue to grow for him. But I go back and I think of, Barrett Jackman playing his entire rookie season as a defense partner with Al McInnes. And then I think of Robert Thomas's first few years in the league, but especially his first year where he was actually put on the wing and he was on a line regularly with Tyler Bozak and Pat Maroon, right? And just the way being on the ice with veteran players like that, kick above that line and the creativity that Dvorsky can bring to that, And guys, we get set for this one tonight against the Islanders. It's 1 year to the day that they hired Jim Montgomery right here in New York. And, and the crazy thing about this current road trip, at least these final 3 games, the Blues played the Islanders on the Saturday before Thanksgiving last year, had Sunday off in New York, just like they did yesterday. They changed the coach last year. That they did not do this trip. And we've got the Rangers tonight, which was Monty's first game as head coach of the Blues, and then the Devils on Wednesday before coming home for Thanksgiving. So literally a year to the day that he was hired, and then a year to the physical day, I guess, that his first game was coached by the St. Louis Blues, or with the St. Louis Blues.
And he's tried a lot to get this thing going, playing rock music, mixing up the lines. I think at times he's been kind of, mad in tone, and then he's kind of fun and trying to find the right tone for this group. What about the line change? And we mentioned this whole Shen, Buchnevich, Dvorsky. What do you think from players? Do you think they would they like it to be settled at some point? What do you get? What's your sense from players in terms of the lines constantly changing?
No doubt they would like it to be settled down. But when you talk to a coach is going to say, that's great, then play well enough so I don't have to change them. And that's really what Monty said. I asked him that question about how much he values that line consistency before that game against the Islanders. He says, I'd love to keep it, but the players have to play well enough to allow you to keep it. If something's not working, you've got to change it. So I'm guessing, and I'd be surprised, but I think this could be the first time this season, if we have the same exact forward lineup. One quick change. Yep. This, to me, could be the first time this season that, at least from a top 9 standpoint, we could have the same 3 lines for 3 straight games. Think about that. So the play just hasn't been consistent enough for Monty to be able to do that. And I hope we see it, because that's how you're going to build consistency. You guys, I don't care whether it's hockey, football, baseball, whatever. When players know their roles, they know who they're playing with. They know when they're coming out of the bullpen. They know when they're coming off the bench, things like that. Players are better because that predictability just feeds into the kind of routine nature of pro athletes.
Chris Kerber with us here on TMA 101 ESPN. A couple of topics we were discussing in the 7 o'clock hour that I'd like to get your opinion on. Number one, we saw the Blues going up against the Leafs last week, losing in overtime. Craig Berube certainly catching some hell in Toronto. That's just the nature of the beast in that market in particular. You got a chance to see the Leafs up close and personal. You know the head coach of the team. He is now in the crosshairs of Leafs fans and media after a debacle against the Canadiens over the weekend. What is your analysis of the state of the Blues' Stanley Cup winning head coach in Toronto?
Listen, I think he's fine. I think Brad Treliving is a patient general manager, but like Doug Armstrong, aggressive. And the reality of it is, talking to the folks when we were just up there, it's not a coaching problem. Toronto has a player problem. Toronto has they needed a trade. Like, you've got really good players, and take it like the Florida Panthers. You have really good players, but there was just something culturally that they needed different, and Florida made that massive change. And when they traded, and I get it, it's trading for a superstar in Matthew Tkachuk, but they traded a player that had just had over 100 points, 115 points, as a matter of fact, and Jonathan Huberdeau, right? Well, what does Toronto do? Well, Toronto sits on a player with 100 points, Mitch Marner. I don't know if Marner was the player to let go. All they get for Mitch Marner is Nicholas Waugh, because they end up not going on that long run. Right. And I don't know that they're any better. There's no grit. There's no bite. There's an identity that just isn't missing. And it's not because of the coach. It's the makeup of the players, and it's just to me at some point in time, and I think you know what, and guys, I'm going to tell you this: I think we're seeing it right here in St. Louis right now, right? A similar core group of guys over the last few years. Now I get it. The difference is this team is a team in transition versus Toronto knocking on the door and expecting to be better. So there are some caveats to this, but at some point in time, it's not the coach, it's the players. And the Blues are in a situation right now where, again, a year ago they changed the coach after almost an exact similar start, for over these last. I mean, the similarities between the beginning of last year and this year are crazy. Well, the difference is this year, a coach isn't going anywhere. Well, you know what? It changes the player's mentality in Toronto. Brad Treliving, who I thought made it pretty clear that he's, Craig Berube's fine, and the press conference that Treliving had up there that, the coach is good. So, yeah, it's the heat's going to be there, but the reality of it is you've got to find some players that play just with, I think, a little more hard on a regular basis than what they see from Toronto. Because honestly, it's easy to change a coach, but that would be an absolute foolish one on the Maple Leafs, and I just don't see Treliving doing it.
And just looking around the league as a whole, there's only one team, even though everybody has played a minimum of 21 games, there is only one team that has more than 31 points, and that's the Colorado Avalanche, which are on a heater of all heaters at 16-1-5. So overall, we had Daddy Padre, star E-Bug, texting into the program, and he made the observation that he thought the caliber of play is down at this point in the season. He thinks expansion may have watered it down, but then also the jammed up schedule early on with the Olympic break maybe playing a role in it. What is your analysis overall on the play in the NHL with one team like Colorado going off and then a number of teams not necessarily taking off themselves?
Tim, I think you're seeing the parity. First off, I will tell you, and I went back and kind of did the work on this and did the look at it, right? The condensed schedule thing, it's a fallacy at this point. Everybody believes that, it's a condensed schedule because of the Olympics. It's just not true right now. And this will show it to you. Go back the last 3 years. And this is from a Blues standpoint, right? The Blues played game number 22 this year in 45 days. Last year they played it in 46 days. Go back to 22-23, 45 days. 21-22, they played it in 46 days. I can go back 12 years to 14-15, and the Blues played their 22nd game 48 days into the regular season. So it's not a condensed schedule thing around the National Hockey League. I really do think that it's parity. I think that the teams are trying to figure out that they're understanding that you need some more. You can't put the front load your salary cap. You need balance throughout your lineup. I actually think the quality of play that we're seeing around the league, at least from the games that I'm watching on TV, plus the ones I've seen live, is actually pretty good. And the biggest difference for me right now is teams like, say, the Boston Bruins, right? The Washington Capitals, teams like that. Look at Toronto being at the bottom of the standings, okay? You've got San Jose that's finally gotten better, right? The Chicago Blackhawks have finally gotten better. The Detroit Red Wings have finally gotten better. The Ottawa Senators have finally gotten better. The Islanders, Devils, these teams that over the last 10 years that have been picking multiple, 3, 4, 5 times in the top 10, their players are finally coming of age and starting to play well. And those teams that are in the top are starting to slide down. And I really think that more than anything, that's probably what you're seeing in the parity is finally a changing of the guard in terms of some of these teams. Those teams that I mentioned, I mean, we're talking some of them have picked 5, 6, 7 times in the top 10 in the last 12 years. Well, they're the ones that have the talent now, and it's starting to rise.
Blues and Rangers tonight, right here on 101 ESPN. Chris Kerber, Joey Vitale with the call. Pregame, 5 p.m., puck drop, 6 p.m. Blues will try and make it back-to-back victories. Then get another chance on Wednesday before heading home for a back-to-back. Friday afternoon against the Senators, and then Saturday against Utah. Kerbs, always appreciate the time and the perspective. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, guys, have an awesome week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and
Happy
we'll see you when we get home.
Thanks, Kerbs. That's Chris Kerber with us here on the Callier and Thompson phone lines, giving us his perspective. And it sounds like he and Daddy Padre will have an intense discussion regarding parity in the league.
In the room here in about an hour.
At the Madison Square Garden, right under Billy Joel's banner. That's where it's all going to go down. The Colonel, Gabriel P. DeArmond, is going to join us coming up at 9 o'clock. He is brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Gabe is on the Stiefel dossier at 9 o'clock, and then we're giving away tickets to Guns N' Roses, show just announced for next year at Busch Stadium. And we are giving away tickets as the prize for the Design Air Heating and Cooling Email of the Day. August 16th at Busch Stadium, Guns N' Roses will be in St. Louis, and tickets will be available starting next week on December 5th. You can learn more at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app. But you can win 2 tickets by winning the Design Air Heating and Cooling Email of the Day today. That comes your way at 10:45, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. That is how you can email into this program. Design Air is online at designairservice.com. That's Seth Goldcamp, the longest running sponsor on TMA going back a decade. He's got this monster promotion coming up in January in which he is giving away a $10,000 HVAC system and installing it for the winner of the Emailer of the Month. That begins on January 5th here on the morning after. Get a feel for what gets you through the chairman's email filter and what gets you votes by emailing in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. And Martin, I got that Two-Fox up here in the studio, and they're talking about snow on Friday. So it's going to be cold. We know that. Make sure your furnace is firing on all cylinders. We're talking about a high of 37 on Friday. A high of 37 on Friday, high of 39 on Saturday, high of 36 on Sunday, 36 on Monday, 38 on Tuesday. Those are the highs. The furnace has to be working. If it's not, you go to designairservice.com, but you can make sure that it's working by going to designairservice.com and getting your furnace tune-up for the winter months. Design Air Heating and Cooling. Martin's a client. I'm a client. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling. The program is called TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Coming up, So What'd Your Grandma Think? The award-winning. The award-winning. So What'd Your Grandma? Yeah, it's coming up. It's next on TMA 101 ESPN.
Hey, this is Jackson with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Thunder beat the Trailblazers yesterday, 122-95. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 37 points. How about a 17-1 start for the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder, 8-0 at home? That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Yeah. I mean, this program has received so many awards over the years, but Jackson Burkett's So What'd Your Grandma Think, I think, is the one that we're most proud of.
It's the one.
And Lincoln Riley, following USC's loss in Eugene at the Autzen Zoo, led to my guess, again, as a fan who gets to cover the team, which is, Martin, really the strength of our industry at this moment, citing a sign at College Game Day.
No, I think it's good that we talk about it beforehand because it's the one you just sent me yesterday was better, but the question is inaudible because, of course, when you do a away press conference, you have to be under the band for whatever reason. That's where they put you. It seems like everywhere. So the reporter asked a question. Adam Bradford, who covers USC for USA Today's Trojan Wire, referenced a College Game Day sign from an Oregon fan that read, "Extend Lincoln Riley's contract." Bradford used that sign as a jumping off point to ask Riley about how opposing fan bases view him and whether they see the Trojans as a legitimate threat in the Big Ten. Here's the audio.
There was a sign in College Game Day this morning from an Oregon fan that said extend Lincoln Riley's contract. What are your thoughts on the fact that the fan base does not believe exactly the coach of my team since you don't believe it was threatened?
That might be the dumbest question I've been asked as long as I've been a head coach, and I've been asked a lot of questions. You ought to feel a little embarrassed to ask that question. This is a professional thing. You ought to try.
It didn't go well, Martin.
I think that's the proper answer. As much as I hate when these college coaches dunk on the media, and oftentimes it's just sort of a bully pulpit, I don't understand what the question was intended.
He's referencing a sign on.
I understand.
That's the dumbest thing
I
I've ever
understand
heard.
why he. I understand what you're telling me. What I don't understand is why he thought that was a question.
That's the right question to ask.
Good.
That's the right your question, not his. His was not the right
your
question.
Your point was, hey, coach, some sign was kind of making fun of you, trolling you a little bit.
I didn't think it could get worse than people referencing message boards. Like that's bad.
A sign held up at College Game Day is the jumping off point for your question for the head coach.
Some kid
after a tough loss.
Markers and poster board at the student store and wrote that, and then he said, "Boy, there's my question. I'm going to ask Lincoln Riley," and he had upwards of 9 hours to contemplate what he's going to do with that question. We're talking from the beginning of game day until the end of the game.
Wow. I actually feel bad for the coach in that situation because what can you say? I wish you would have workshopped it even more. You're asking me about a sign held up at College Game Day?
You could ask the question, do you think the Big Ten views USC as a threat? And that would be pointed and
for
you know,
sure.
maybe, but to reference it like a sign, like as you're jumping off, is crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, Drink, I saw a sign at College Game Day that said you might be leaving. Did you care to address those said rumors?
Guys, I'm not trying to be mean, but who the hell handed that kid a microphone? That's from Steven Time. He says whoever handed them a microphone knew exactly what they were doing. So he says Steven Time says it was an inside job.
You think the Trojan faithful are
in Eugene?
It
Trojan
makes
SID.
our arts reporter look like Mike Wallace, who kind of caved under follow-up questioning from Steve Sarkisian.
According to who? Arch said that to you? No.
No. Okay. That reporter now feels a little more like, I don't know, Diane Sawyer compared to this guy up in Eugene, who made the trip, I guess, from all the way from L.A.
Yeah, I mean,
to ask
that question about a College Game Day sign. That is the greatest audio I have ever heard. That is so good. That's from Mario Cristobal's biggest hater. Jackson, one more time. Why not? Here it is. So would your grandma thank Jackson's award-winning production.
There was a sign in College Game Day this morning from a Logan fan that said extend Lincoln Riley's contract. What are your thoughts on the fact that the fan base does not believe that fact in the Red teams? You don't believe it was reflected?
That might be the dumbest question I've been asked as long as I've been a head coach, and I've been asked a lot of questions. You ought to feel a little embarrassed to ask that question. This is a professional thing. You ought to try.
That reporter sounded like my prepubescent brother with a nasally cold. That is from the 217.
Yeah, it didn't help.
The voice quality sounded like there might have been
impediment.
Yeah, maybe an issue with.
Yeah.
But I think Riley could have been even meaner. Actually, I don't think he was.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, he's not a bad guy, is he? I think in terms of the college coaches
like
that are banty-ish.
Oklahoma doesn't like him.
Well, I know that, but I don't think there's any track record of him being a total jerkwad.
No, I haven't seen that.
Bottom Drippy texting in and saying that is the audio definition of one Twitter user said. Crestwood Coyote, can I hear the trembling reporter stuttering out?
I do want to hear the follow-up. Did they have any follow-up? Okay, Coach, talk about your special teams. So in that same building, though, Dan Lanning was also...
Spicy Dan Lanning.
Yeah, Spicy Dan Lanning. That tends to be a theme with Dan Lanning. Oregon could be your national champion, Martin. Oregon could be playing Missouri in the ReliaQuest Bowl. It's a wide delta because they lose this weekend to Washington in Seattle, which is certainly possible. I'm not sure they get in because they didn't have... I guess they'd only beaten two teams with a winning record this year going into the game against USC. So Dan Lanning was indeed spicy. So this is in the opposite press conference room from the Lincoln Riley debacle.
Yeah, the band, strangely enough, not a problem at Dan Lanning.
Well, we just played a really good team. We beat them. And a lot of times we play really good teams, they become unranked all of a sudden. That's not our fault, right? Maybe it is our fault. But all we're worried about is playing the teams that we play and doing the job that we need to do. And we did that job today, right? I think proof's in the pudding, right? Played a good team. We beat them, right? All we can do next week is try to do the same thing, right? And this conference is a really good conference. It's competitive, right? We didn't play Chattanooga State today, right? Like some other places, right? We competed. So, that being said, it's tough playing 9 conference games. It's tough playing in this league. And we got to take advantage of playing a good team today and attacking that.
Right.
Chattanooga State.
Yeah. Wilking just checking the till, as we like to say.
Checking the till, Martin.
Oh, I love that. So clearing the deck used to be my favorite. Checking the till is my new favorite.
Oregon started off their season with Montana State.
Nice.
Oklahoma State. I think that was the one where Gundy started to really feel it after a 69-3 drubbing.
Dan Lanning gave him an exit.
In Evanston on the water there. That was a win. And then Oregon State, who has two wins on the season. They went to Penn State, and at the time, Penn State had a healthy quarterback in James Franklin.
Was the signature game.
Yeah, and then
at the time.
Lost to Indiana, and then won at Iowa. Legit great win. Outside of that, played a lot of bums. Not their fault. That's the Big Ten doing Big Ten things, but played a lot of bums.
But their non-con was Oklahoma State,
Oregon
State, and then Montana State.
Right.
But the bad beat for them is Oklahoma State turned into a dumpster fire, and Penn State became the signature.
And Oklahoma State 5 years ago on your schedule is probably pretty cool.
And Wisconsin's usually a better team.
Well, conference, there's nothing you can do about it. But, hey, you get 2 losses, and your opponents, if they were to get to 2 losses, their opponents not necessarily impressive. And then you do get Indiana at home, and you lose. I think they're in a spot. They play on Saturday at 2:30 at Washington. They are a 6.5-point favorite. If they lose that could be a problem. I mean, so much is up in the air. I mean, Ohio State, you would think, would beat Michigan. They're a 9.5-point favorite. But if Michigan beats Ohio State, I think Michigan gets in.
Yeah.
And so...
Because that loss to Oklahoma doesn't look that bad.
Somebody from a big-time place is not getting in. And it could wind up being absolute anarchy in regard to the college football playoff. I mean, right now... I don't think Diego Pavia is going.
Right.
I want to see them get in, too.
Yeah, it kind of feels
just because I want to be entertained by it, but I don't see them getting in unless there is some chaos. They could have gotten some help from either Missouri this weekend or USC, but then if USC would have won, then USC may have passed them. But either way, Vanderbilt can win in Knoxville, and I think they would be the 10-2 SEC team that looking at it from a Missouri fan standpoint, I'm like, I mean, their best win at that point is Tennessee, and their next best win is Missouri. That's what they got. Missouri's best win is South Carolina.
Well, what? The ACC is doing us and nobody any favors by being the most utterly confusing conference in college football. Georgia Tech has everything in front of them, and they lay an absolute egg on Pat Narduzzi and Pittsburgh. Get messed up by them. I don't get it. So Miami will probably go out of the ACC still.
Penn State put it on Matt Rule in Nebraska.
Yeah, probably tough for Penn State fans beating down the Matt Rule drone. I guess he just signed the extension, though, so he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but I would imagine if you're in Nebraska, you're going, oh, my God, we got this guy locked in now for a while. Yeah. And he just got stomped on. Vanderbilt at Tennessee is 2:30 on Saturday. That's also Missouri, and Missouri is only a 2.5-point favorite against Arkansas.
I wonder what that's about.
Lack of offense.
And knowing that Arkansas is probably going to be able to put up points.
Oh, yeah.
I would think this would mimic more of the Missouri-Mississippi State game than the Missouri-Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
Or Missouri-Auburn game. But I would imagine that Arkansas is going to put up some points. But Missouri should be able to put up some points, too, considering Arkansas's defense. But, yeah, if you get into a shootout game at that point, 2.5 points, whew.
How about Drinkwitz saying post-game, our offense had zero creativity? I'm like, that's your thing. That's your offense. That's you and Kirby. That's what you guys do. You game plan. He said zero before we could say zero creativity, he said we had zero creativity.
When your best offense is hoping to get a defensive touchdown, you're in a real bad spot.
Yeah. We'll get what the Colonel has to say about it coming up. He is brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, and he's going to join us here in a matter of moments. Gabe DeArmond of PowerMizzou.com. Locked in for what will be either the end of a journey for him here in the next 7 days or just the start of a journey for him this week. Get the Colonel's perspective. Brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. James is online at carltoninsurance.net. Jamie Rivers made the switch to James Carlton last month, and just last week, BK made the switch to James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Yes, it's spreading throughout 101 ESPN. People going, yeah, why wouldn't I? I'm going to save some money. Here's what BK said. He said, hey, Tim, just wanted to say thanks for setting me up with James. He was able to save us a few $100s on our insurance. Great dude and super easy process. So now every show throughout the day on 101 ESPN is working with James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. Gabe DeArmond giving us his perspective on the state of the coaching search in the SEC, and Eli Drinkwitz next here on the Morning After. Presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.
Home mortgage loans can get a little complicated, but Together Credit Union here for you throughout the entire process. As your hometown home loan provider, Together Credit Union has a home loan solution for every buyer that's out there. So find out more, whether you're downsizing, sizing up, whatever your needs are. Together Credit Union here for you. And we love talking about those specialty mortgages. That includes the community contributor mortgage. That's for teachers, firefighters, healthcare, and emergency medical professionals, and more. Benefits include low down payment, lower interest rates, and no private mortgage insurance requirements. Find out more at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union knows that the mortgage loan industry, it all gets a little complicated. Let them walk you through it. Plus, it's all done in-house. Everything's here in St. Louis. The underwriting, servicing, everything is local. Remember, Together Credit Union, your hometown home loan provider. Visit togethercu.org for full rates, terms, details, and here's to making St. Louis your home. Together Credit Union, equal housing lender, federally insured by NCUA.
Called Missouri, which I wrote. There is a state which I live in, which is called Missouri.
Well, they'll be playing it in Fayetteville on Saturday at 2:30.
Missouri is where I live.
Oh, my.
Missouri is where I live. Missouri.
2.5-point favorites, Martin.
Well, they're in great shape then.
Tennessee, 2.5-point favorite over Vanderbilt. That game also at 2:30. Also at 2:30. It's the SEC is just jamming them in. Oklahoma is a 10.5-point favorite over LSU. And Kenzel Kelly and his boy BK joining us right now here as we start our 9 o'clock hour, which is presented to you by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. It's the Colonel, who is brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, Gabriel P. DeArmond of PowerMizzou.com with us on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. Morning, Colonel.
Tim, you can tell the riveting importance of this game because you don't even sound excited about Tina E. in Fayetteville.
Yeah, I don't think that Tina E. in Fayetteville, I think there's going to be a lot of empty seats. Could be some challenging weather conditions as well. But I guess the good news for you is that you're approaching what at least would be an answer on that which has been your focus, which I think has been the right thing since the Texas A&M game, and that is the Eli Drinkwitz coaching search. I want to start there. I think it's what most people are interested in, and so therefore let's begin with that. You wrote this morning on PowerMizzou.com that the people you have been talking to throughout, close to the program in Columbia, who felt confident that Eli Drinkwitz wasn't going anywhere, have changed their tune, not to the point of saying that he is leaving, but they are not as sure that he is staying. Would that be a fair characterization?
There just seems to have been a shift in the last, 4 or 5 days, or maybe even since the end of the A&M game. And I don't think I've got to be clear. Nobody knows. Nobody said, nobody in Columbia. I mean, I'm getting national people still that are like, yo, he's gone. But I don't think anybody knows where. He still has to be presented one of those options, and I'm not sure that'll happen. But, yeah, just the people I've talked to, there seems to have been a shift to, I don't know. It just feels different. I don't know if that's, that's not exactly like Pulitzer Prize winning stuff there, but it just kind of has felt a little bit different. There seems to be a lot more uncertainty, and, his comments certainly haven't done anything to necessarily tamp that down. And I think there is more of a sense in the Missouri fan base after the comments last week and then the product that was on the field at Oklahoma of kind of like, what are we doing here? You're asking for more. And then that was really bad, man. I mean, this was, I think there's a lot of, this was a guy that came in with this reputation of offense and quarterbacks and all that. And I mean, that was a dreadful offense. I know what the numbers said, but you watch that game and that was an offense that just didn't have much hope.
And without any offers presumably on the table at this point, do you think the shift is just in his mindset, I don't need to go anywhere. I'm good. I want to stay. We're going to work this out. I'll probably get an extension, to the mindset shifting you know what? I'm open to it. You know what? If they don't love me around here and we got a tough schedule next year, do you think that's where the shift is, just in his willingness to listen?
I mean, I think it's honestly more the longer it's gone without any sort of, hey, I'm not interested in anything else. People are starting, and then a couple of losses and all that, people might start being a little more accepting of what has been the outside reality for a month, which is, no, this is a very real possibility. The closer it comes, I think, and, I reported last week, and I don't think it's going to matter because I think Lane Kiffin's going to LSU, but I had people I believe tell me he was number 2 on their list. Auburn seems, I don't know, I had people say last week they thought he was maybe second there, at least in the top 3, and now our Auburn site is reporting a top 3 that doesn't include him. Nobody knows what's going on at Penn State. It was reported last week he was out at Florida, but I think some people doubt that. I think it's more just the uncertainty of we don't know what's happening, so it seems more and more likely that he is open to leaving. But again, I mean, like I said last week, hey, he answered the question. There's no point to belabor this tomorrow. Nothing's going to be said. We're going to wait until after the Arkansas game and see what happens.
Gabe DeArmond with us here, brought to you by James Carlton at the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, talking it over with me and Martin Kilcoyne here on 101 ESPN. I do want to talk about that report you just made reference to, because if you are not a Power Mizzou subscriber, it came out on Friday afternoon. And this really stood out, and that is from Baton Rouge that Eli Drinkwitz is second on their list if they don't get Lane Kiffin. Now, I know most people around the country think that Lane Kiffin will wind up in Baton Rouge, but if he does not go to LSU, that your sources telling you that he is number 2 on their list. What can you tell us about that, Colonel?
I mean, I've talked to a couple people that I trust that know national coaching stuff that told me their information is he is second. You know, I drove out and watched a plane from Baton Rouge land and pick up somebody that I want to be clear was not Eli Drinkwitz and then go to some random town in Louisiana. I don't know what it means. And, like, we've got to be clear, these reports, I mean, like I said, hey, there are reports about he's on this list, he's not on that list, he's here, he's not. We don't know. Like, these are all kind of educated guesses, it seems like to me. So I don't really have a clue where he stands various places. And like I said, I am strongly of the belief that the LSU thing isn't going to matter. I am relatively confident that come Saturday, Lane Kiffin's going to be the LSU coach. You know, there are people, all of whom seem to be located in Gainesville, Florida, that think he's still going to Florida. There doesn't really seem to be anybody that thinks he's staying at Ole Miss that should be informed on this. So we'll see, and none of it can happen until Lane happens. But, you know, National Signing Day is a week from Wednesday, so it's really Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This stuff has to get resolved, not just with Drink, with everybody. I mean, these moves have to be made. You know, pretty quickly, I think, because, like, say you are a Missouri commitment, if you haven't heard anything from Eli Drinkwitz that he's staying at Missouri on Wednesday or he's going somewhere else, like, are you signing a letter of intent? I know you can get out of it, but I'm not sure I would. I'm not sure I would advise my son to. So it'll be a very interesting. I mean, I've told my guys, like, hey, man, 6 o'clock Saturday, we are officially on watch for something. And I don't know what that is at all, but whatever it is, like, there needs to be some sort of resolution. The interesting part of this, and I just wrote it this morning, like, he's under contract for 4 more years. If he doesn't actually get an offer from anywhere else or something, does he really ever have to come out and say he's staying, or does he just kind of stay? I don't know.
Gabe, as far as the season, it's amazing how Vegas had it right at 7.5 over/under on wins. They're sitting at 7 with a game to go. How would you rate? I mean, I think a lot of people thought 8-4 was possible, even likely, yet it feels disappointing, even with a win over Arkansas. Yeah. How do you rate this season?
I mean, I picked them 8-4 before the season, and the big reason was I said, look, they've got a first-year starting quarterback in at least 4 games here, like every one of them has. And then I got tricked a little bit and kind of stopped thinking at 5-0 and recalibrated and said I think they're going to go 10-2. And this was never a 10-2 football team. This team, like, it's funny. Every August, it's, you know, the national people hate us. They're sleeping on us, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. They kind of end up right a lot more often than not. You know, I mean, this team is pretty much what the national people said it was in July, which is, yeah, it has a schedule that says it's going to win probably 8 games. But I don't think there's enough there to win more than that. And they've turned out to be exactly right. Now, the shame of it is on defense, there was clearly enough to win more. Like, I legitimately think this defense is national championship caliber. Like, they're good enough that Missouri could be 11-0 with this defense right now. And talking about, okay, who are we playing in the SEC title game and are we getting the top 4 seed? They just have had no support from the other side.
Speaking of the other side, do you think this is the last we will see of Bo Prabula Saturday in Columbia?
Man, anything could happen there, right? Like, I mean, the first half against Oklahoma, like, we had people going, why isn't Matt Zollers? And then I said, well, I mean, you saw the last 2 weeks, and he's not ready either. You know, like, Bo is – the one thing Drinkwitz has done, he's played the best quarterback available the last 4 or 5 seasons. Now, you can argue at times that the problem is that has been the best quarterback available, but I think he has played the best quarterback he's had on the roster that was healthy enough to play every time. I mean, there's a scenario where Bo transfers. There's a scenario where Bo comes back and Matt Zollers redshirts. There's one where Bo comes back and Zollers transfers. And then there's one where Eli Drinkwitz takes another job and they're all gone. I don't know. They're all possible.
Outside of Baton Rouge, one that was a big focal point for Missouri and the stories was Penn State, and then that has quieted down as of late. And now you got a weird spot in Happy Valley after they beat the hell out of Nebraska on Saturday night, that there is a movement amongst some alumni and the players that they keep their interim coach. Terry Smith, what are you hearing about the situation in Happy Valley?
Not much. I'll be honest, guys. I was out of town yesterday and kind of unplugged, and so I feel like I'm going to spend these next 24 hours playing catch up a little bit. Penn State has gone super quiet lately, and the whole interim guy, like, to me, if Terry Smith wasn't a consideration 4 weeks ago, he shouldn't be a consideration now. But like, I think Auburn very much could do the same thing. If DJ Durkin beats Alabama, that means so much in Auburn that it would not shock me if DJ Durkin is the full-time head coach. I think it's a bad idea to hire a guy based on the outcome of 1 to 3 football games. And they look good against Nebraska. Nebraska is an incredibly mediocre football team. Like, they're 7-4. Quite possibly heading to 7-5 because they play Iowa and somebody will win that game 7-6. Nebraska also has been playing without its starting quarterback the last 3 weeks, so it's not the same team it was 3 weeks ago. I don't know if beating that team at home should be enough to get you, like, going from James Franklin to Terry Smith. That seems interesting to me, but anything's possible, man.
In terms of the game, the Oklahoma game, you guys broke it down quite a bit on the postgame. A lot of the fourth down decisions, and I think the overriding theme was, and this is a coach, again, whose resume is out there every week for these potential schools, if they're interested, to kind of watch. And it did seem to be where they coached, I'd say timid was maybe an understatement. He did explain a lot of the fourth down decisions. I said to Tim earlier, when they were at the 50 and they punted, they're down 17-6, and he said, I trusted our defense. I would argue if you trust your defense, you can go for it at the 50 because you don't feel like you're putting your defense in a bad spot.
That was the one that I absolutely hated. Like, I mean, I didn't like – I would have gone for it on 4th and 3 in the first half in a 7-3 game. And the reason I would have gone for it is I just don't trust their kicking unit at all. They line up for a 30-yard field goal, and I have no idea if they're going to make it. And missing a field goal is so deflating, or getting it blocked as they did. I would have gone for that one. I didn't love the explanation of, hey, we lined up and they called timeout and they'd seen it. And you got to have more than one play, man. There can't be just one play. You want to run on 4th and 3. So I didn't love that one, but I hated the one at midfield. And I said the same thing. I mean, so you give Oklahoma the ball at midfield. Who cares? They're doing nothing on offense. Like, they made one play on offense in that entire football game. If you trust your defense, you trust your defense to get the ball back right there. And so I didn't like that one. And I don't know if this is fair or not. I think it's a little unfair, but I had a lot of people say after that game, man, he coached like a guy that's like looking to leave. And I said, I don't know if that's fair, but like, that's what a lot of people felt. It's interesting, he is a very conservative game day coach. Like, this has been a team built on the running game and defense really for his whole time here. Now the defense has been gotten better, obviously, but this is a team that has not put up a ton of points. They're generally winning close fourth quarter games. There have been a lot of times over the years where he's either punted or kicked a field goal when people think the other thing should be done. I mean, and that doesn't mean he's wrong. Like, conservative approaches can win, and you've got to coach the team and the roster you have. But I do think, just because he came in with this reputation of an offensive guy, he was 36 years old when he got the job. I think a lot of people expected that he would be this freewheeling, aggressive football coach, and he really hasn't been here. He's been a very, conservative, almost like Big Ten style football coach, which is fine. I mean, it's worked. Like he's 28-9 or whatever. I'm not knocking him. He's done a good job here, but it just, I think, has been a little bit different than a lot of us thought it was going to be a few years ago.
But it also doesn't fit his personality because he's kind of a big talker at the podium, and he kind of has this, oh, golly gee, who cares? Like, it just, if you know his personality a little bit, you would think on game day he would coach a little differently.
He said some interesting things, too, after that game. He very much basically blamed the kicker for the blocked field goal, which, hey, maybe it was the kicker's fault, but you usually don't hear him say that. They said he was slow with his operation on the first one, and we told him to speed it up, and he didn't. If he's slow with his operation, that in practice. They have a stopwatch for everything. Like, they know, if he's not fast enough, they should have known that before he went out there. I know he said that there was no rhythm and no imagination in the offensive play calling. That, to me, certainly comes off as a shot at your offensive coordinator. Whether he meant to, we often really parse what coaches say in post-game interviews, and a lot of times I also say, what if somebody came up to you after a bad day of work you're walking out of the studio 5 minutes after the show's over, and people are asking you to break down what you talked about and what you said, and sometimes you just say some things in the heat of the moment that without thinking about it. But I just found it a little interesting, some of the things he said after that game. And I think it is going to be a very interesting week here next week, regardless of whether he's still the coach or still not the coach. There are a lot of things to watch next week.
Colonel Gabriel P. DeArmond, we'll be watching him on PowerMizzou.com. That is where you can read him. He has his 10 thoughts for Monday morning posted on Power Mizzou, and that is recommended reading. Gabe, brought to you by James Carlton at the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency on Mondays and Fridays. This week, the program off on Friday, along with everybody at 101 ESPN for the Thanksgiving weekend. Colonel, looking forward to the coverage. I am glued to PowerMizzou.com, and certainly will be here at the very least over the next week. We appreciate you coming on the show. Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Take it easy. That's Gabe DeArmond with us here on the Callier and Thompson phone lines, giving us his perspective. Jackson Burkett, you got to bet $1,000. Eli Drinkwitz, is he the head coach of Missouri in 2026? Go.
No.
Martin Kilcoyne, $1,000.
I think Predictionary tells us I've been on the no, he's leaving camp. I've been in that camp for a while. And I think if you look at if you're a coach and you want to win, you look at next year's schedule, it is more daunting. I think he's expressed the frustration on the Fortune 500, whether you think that's silly or not. He's clearly bothered by that. I think he's referenced, they all wanted me out of here. He said that middle of last week or last Tuesday. I think he's very aware of tone and narratives, and so if he feels like he's not being fully appreciated, then that's my take on him, is that he's more likely to go because of that. So if there's a legit offer, my opinion is that he will go.
If there is a legit offer, I agree with you. The issue is, who is going to make that offer?
And I don't see that other than the reporting. I'm surprised. Right. I can't see Florida with their fan base and their expectations saying we're going to take the guy at Missouri, and then people start parsing through the record. Same even at Auburn or Ole Miss, or I cannot see an SEC school saying we're taking the Missouri coach. We already know, even when Mizzou has a big year, that conference looks down on Mizzou. They all feel like they're second class. So to try and sell that, I think it'd be really hard. But if it's offered, I think he'll go.
Yes.
But I am curious about what offers are out there.
So, I'm in this group chat. Not only am I texting with Gabe plenty, but also a group chat. A bunch of guys went to school together. And Friday afternoon, he was, I don't want to say panic mode, that one, but there was some intensity with that LSU report, which is why I wanted to specifically ask him about that, because I think that really took them aback. Now, 2 hours later, you had Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss, announcement that they weren't going to talk about it again until after this Friday's game with Mississippi State. And then the indication from fans was that means he is leaving. If he was going to sign an extension at Ole Miss, they would have announced it on Friday. So that made the Eli Drinkwitz LSU story fall to the back page, because the logic is Lane Kiffin's going to LSU. But I just cannot imagine. I think we've lived through it here with Frank Haith. That's the one that stands out to me.
When the school hired a name and the whole school, everybody's like, what? Who?
Exactly right. If you are in LSU, if you are in Florida, even if you're at Auburn, and that is who you get, I think people are going to be beside themselves in those fan bases. I mean, we've seen what happened in Tennessee when they initially were going to hire Greg Schiano. That led to Jeremy Pruitt. And what happened in College Station, where they were initially going to hire Mark Stoops, and then they wound up with Mike Elko. That one looking a lot different than the results in Knoxville. I could see the same thing happening with one of these SEC schools if they were to hire Eli Drinkwitz. Interestingly enough, I think most Missouri fans want Drinkwitz to stay, but I think throughout the SEC, at least at those programs, it would lead to a lot of pushback and stunned disbelief as well. I don't think any of those schools think they're winding up with Eli Drinkwitz, but that could be what winds up happening here in the next 7 days. Your thoughts on the topic are welcome. 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text inbox. You're also welcome to talk it over with other TMA listeners. YouTube.com/TMASTL, Michelob Ultra, YouTube chat, and of course, email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. 2 tickets to Guns N' Roses at Busch Stadium. That concert just announced this morning. It'll be taking place on August 16th. Tickets on sale on December 5th, but you can win 2 by winning the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Martin, can you tell the people about Design Air Heating and Cooling?
In fact, we were talking about them earlier, and a texter said they're in my home right now. Design Air, the place to go when you tune up the furnace. Winter is here. It's getting cold this week. I think overnight, maybe even into Wednesday or Thursday, it's like in the 20s. So if the furnace isn't acting properly, you get our friends out there to do a little tune-up, do a repair. I've had them install a brand new HVAC unit. Love the whole team when they come out there, and after all the work's done, they walk through, explain everything to you. A lot of it, too, is energy efficient, things that you just wouldn't pay attention to. They explain it all to you, how you're going to save money long term on your energy bills. So the entire process is great when working with Seth's team at Design Air. Get online, book that appointment, designairservice.com. They've been doing this for more than a century. Family owned and operated, St. Louis based business. That alone should get you interested. St. Louis based, family owned and operated. On top of that, great service, great quality. We got that Train HVAC unit running great. Thanks to Seth, the whole team, for getting out there and doing it right. You can find out for yourself at designairservice.com.
Email in for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, coming your way at 10:45. This is TMA, presented by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. We have an opportunity for TMA listeners to make some money in supporting a TMA sponsor. It's Psychiatric Care and Research Center with 40-plus years in practice and 20-plus years conducting clinical research trials. Dr. John Canale, who completed his psychiatric residency at WashU, where he also served as chief resident, conducts these studies, and his current studies include anxiety disorder, depression, bipolar depression, and obsessive-compulsive disorder, and compensation will be provided for your time and travel. And if you're in the St. Louis area, you are close because the office is in O'Fallon, Missouri. If you are interested in participating in these research studies, go online at pcrc-stl.com. That's pcrc-stl.com. It's Psychiatric Care and Research Center offering compensation for participation in these clinical research trials. Learn more by going to pcrc-stl.com. Martin, the great Jason Alexander.
Wow.
Tribute to Billy Joel.
I just can't believe that's him. It sounds like an outtake on Glee that they didn't use.
It is TMA 101 ESPN 9 o'clock hour, brought to you by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. The great Mark Hanna, 314-889-0503. He is online at evergreen-ws.com. I cannot say enough good things about Mark Hanna as an individual, and I also cannot say enough things about the importance of having a financial advisor. The purpose of having a financial advisor is so you can have someone in your corner who can help you make good decisions to help you get toward your goals. They help you think about things such as investing, tax strategies, insurance, cash flow, and liquidity, so that you can understand your best path forward. Call Mark and his team at Evergreen Wealth Strategies, 314-889-0503, or go online at evergreen-ws.com. That's Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Tim McKernan, Martin Kilcoyne with you as Doug was here in the 7 o'clock hour, but he's got a voice situation. And so after the 7 o'clock hour, thought it was in the best interest to head back home and see if he can join us for tomorrow's program. It is an abbreviated week with the Thanksgiving holiday. Jackson, I know you have big plans for Skanksgiving, and that's bottle service at Wheelhouse. Is that the deal?
Yeah, it's standard, I would say. I would say most Skanksgivings, that's what I like to do, is get bottles of Wheelhouse, just really get after it. That way, when I'm with my family the next day, I'm just an absolute wreck. I think that's a really good place to be in.
All right. So there's Jackson's plan for
Why is Paper sleeping on the couch? It's only 1 in the afternoon.
There was one Thanksgiving in college where after the meal, I laid down for a nap, and I didn't wake up
like a week later.
I didn't wake up until like we left the Thanksgiving dinner. So
was everybody delighted?
Yeah, that was my B stuff.
Isn't it the biggest bar night? Like one of them in the whole year?
It's like that and New Year's Eve are huge for going out to the bars.
Because the girls come back home from either college or from north side of Chicago.
Yep.
And they want to rekindle that flame.
Yep. Yep. And then there's guys who wait all year for their opportunity.
Is that right?
Sure.
So like it's simp season?
I wouldn't necessarily say simp season, but it's definitely rekindle season, nostalgia season. And some guys try to lean into that a little bit.
And how do you lean into it in 2025?
Bringing up good memories. You're around the person. Drinks are flowing. Next thing you know, you're at someone's parents' basements. It's all going on.
Someone's
not something I get involved in.
It's very specific.
It's not something I
got a new bottle of cologne, saving it all year just for that night.
Jackson, are you avoiding tin roof per previous experiences? That's from the 636.
So the previous experience that person is referencing is a false narrative that I once went.
You're going to start to hire counsel on these defamation.
It's so ludicrous that it would be thrown out immediately in any rational court of law. And so, yeah, I was never at Tin Roof by myself dancing. That's never happened once. I don't even really go to Tin Roof ever.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes, I've been
no
to Tin
further
Roof
questions,
before.
John.
And Tin Roof is the old J Bucks? Is that the one downtown? Wasn't that Joe's spot? Is that the same building? What, am I crazy?
I don't think you're crazy. I just don't know.
Made it up.
I just don't know.
I haven't been. I'd ask
it's
the
right
private
next to
dancer over here.
the on-ramp to Highway 40.
It's in that, yeah.
Kind of near all those old brick buildings.
You're correct, Martin. Tin Roof is the
Thank
old
you.
J Bucks.
Thanks, Kurt.
Schmoes, like I made something up.
Well, when was it J Bucks?
Probably for like 10 or 15 years, wouldn't you say, Tim? I think it was Joe
so.
Bucks as opposed to, I said it wrong. J Bucks was the Clayton
That was in
vehicle.
Clayton, which is now Capitol Grill.
Yes.
Okay. See, I knew that.
But I think the Joe Buck restaurant, which was shadows of Busch Stadium, was probably a good
right
10.
by the Stan Musial statue. And that on
down the road a bit, yeah.
2017.
2017?
But when did it open?
What?
Martin's
Tin Roof or J
He's going to
Bucks?
go to Doug's house.
Guys, I don't feel so good if I could just bail. No, when did Joe Buck's restaurant open?
Hold on.
Okay, because you blurted out 2017. I didn't know what that meant.
That's when it turned to Tin Roof.
Okay, and so a reasonable follow-up. It's not a College Game Day sign.
2008, Martin.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Yeah, there was a sign at game day. 2008 to 2017 is when I wanted to know. Nearly a decade in that spot there. Love that spot. Beautiful building. Can I ask for an audio clip? Because I sent it to Jackson, but I didn't listen to it. And Tom Brenneman, who we hadn't heard from in a long time since Castellanos had the deep fly, is calling ACC football.
Yeah, it was a 4-minute clip.
Okay.
Big thanks.
Wow. And I believe
couldn't be more thankful for that.
Was there not a game going on?
There was. So yeah, some brutally loud audio of people hitting each other and stuff.
So the game itself.
I was able to chop it down to a minute.
Okay, it's Furman versus Clemson.
Nice.
Tom Brenneman on, I believe, one of the two Fox partner channels, CW, that was at the Frog. Tom Brenneman calling the game, but it said he really gets into the Lane Kiffin topic, so I forwarded it to Young Papers.
Yeah, so here's the edited version.
The thing that you pray that doesn't happen to sort of tie a ribbon around this Kiffin thing, because if it did, his reputation would be tarnished, unfortunately, forever, no matter what
tarnished
he does.
If he left.
If he left as they're going into the college football playoff. I mean, there are a lot of people that would never let that go. And you know what? You can't blame them. But unfortunately, and look, he's been, he laid it out there in the SEC coaches call the other day. He said, look, this is a systemic problem, the way it's laid out with commitments, intents, transfer portal, all this kind of thing. But the bottom line is, man, oh man, if he were to win next week in the Egg Bowl, and then that's a guarantee they're in the college football playoff, and then leave.
And there's a game going on. There's an actual game going on.
Clemson Furman wasn't very close.
Okay, maybe that allowed for a little latitude with having some commentary.
Much like Tom Hart 2 weeks ago when Missouri played Mississippi State.
But, I mean, I think we all agree that it is a big old mess in college football. I don't think Lane Kiffin can call out that it's a big old mess, although the timing is what they're referring to.
I think, but that's a huge part of it.
Right, because these recruits and all, it's forcing the hand in some of these schools to do it
It just,
now.
again, screams for there needs to be some sort of rule, some sort of uniformity across the sport.
And remember, Bo Perbula last year had to leave Penn State before they went on their playoff run because he had no choice. It had to do with academics, he said, air quotes. It has to do with school year. But it still could be, I would think, let's be reasonable here.
Right.
I could be off the mark, but I think the best entertainment with regard to the chaos that is college football is about to be upon us, and I don't think it will have anything to do with what takes place on the field, with the combination of Lane Kiffin being the domino on the coaching side, and then also who winds up getting into the college football playoff. I think you are going to have, it's going to be take season, and it is going to be a Take Smith's delight, and all hell is about to break loose. You have a situation that is developing with regard to the ACC and these other conferences where it's possible that the ACC champion does not get into the college football playoff. Now, I wouldn't consider it likely. I want to emphasize that. But it is something that is lurking. Miami and Utah are both ranked way higher than these schools that are going to get into the college football playoff, but I don't know if there is a path for Miami or Utah to get in without all kinds of upsets taking place. Just for the record, Martin, I don't know if you were monitoring this as a college football nerd. I was on top of it.
Is there a spreadsheet?
There was no
Sunday spreadsheet?
It's just a 25 best teams according to the Associated Press. Pittsburgh went to Georgia Tech on Saturday night and went up 28-0 before going on to beat the Ramblin' Wreck. That took place about 16 hours before the poll was released, but it was lost on the voters because Georgia Tech is ranked 23rd and Pittsburgh is ranked 24th. So you have that. Then you also have James Madison at 20, North Texas at 21, Tulane at 22, and then Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh and SMU, the ACC schools who will likely be playing Virginia for the ACC title, and Virginia is ranked 17th. So keep an eye on the ACC potentially being on the outside looking in, while schools like James Madison, North Texas, and Tulane are guaranteed a spot at 12. And somebody is going to be left out of the college football playoff from amongst one of these that are currently in there. Notre Dame, Alabama, and 12th ranked Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, I would guess, is going to need a lot of help in order to get in and to win against Tennessee. So something chaotic is on the precipice. And keep in mind, the deadline for the college football playoff to be revamped is December 1st. Oddly enough, December 1st coming before the college football playoff is announced, which comes on the Sunday after Championship Sunday, which when you watch games and they talk about why people like Georgia, for example, or Ole Miss, as far as talent goes, they say, when the good news for them is there's a good chance that they won't have to play in the SEC championship game. Very odd that something that's supposed to be one of the great accomplishments to play for an SEC championship is it's considered a good thing if you don't have to play in it. Boy, you got to like Dan Lanning's chances now. Probably not going to have to play in the Big Ten championship game, and then they're going to get a home game at Autzen as long as they can win against Washington. Man, you got to like Kirby Smart's chances. If it is Texas A&M and Alabama, Kirby Smart gets to host a college football playoff, and he doesn't have to play in the SEC championship game. What does that say for the value of these conference championship games if it's considered a good thing if schools don't have to play in them?
College football is currently being run like a fantasy football league with your buddies, where you.
If you're attacking producer Joe, I'm going to jump across this.
No, certainly not Joe, but where the commissioner sets a new rule and doesn't think about the back end consequences of the rule. And then once you get there, like, well, we'll fix it next year. Like, they're constantly like, well, we'll fix it next year. It's like, well, did we not think about any of this? What's going on?
And I understand those conference championship games equal money, TV dollars, but I think everyone has suggested turn those into playoff games on home campus.
Yes.
And you'll make just as much money done. And why not do that? Everybody would be happy. The model has changed. Those conference championships don't have any value. Therefore, you don't have to have it. Fan bases won't care. How many times do you go to the conference championship game?
It used to really mean something.
But if you're Alabama, Georgia, you're worried about bigger fish to fry than that anyway, down the road. So just get rid of it.
And as far as projections go, listen, I'm excited about the 8 and 9 games, and I'm excited about the 7 and 10 games. But here is your projection right now via ESPN. The 5 seed, Texas Tech. One writer has them playing North Texas. The other has them playing Tulane. So that would be one of the games. And then SMU taking on either Ole Miss or Oregon.
Jeez, SMU gets in again. It's unbelievable.
But if it's not SMU, it's Virginia.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's chances of getting the ACC championship game are 3rd right now, way down from SMU and Virginia.
And they play Miami next week.
That's correct. But even by winning, they don't necessarily get in. They need SMU or Virginia to lose. And both are playing. SMU, I think, has West Virginia.
SMU, I think Texas Tech has West Virginia. SMU, Tim, they're playing Cal, who just lost to Stanford.
That's right, and fired their coach.
Yeah.
And the Pitt coach was okay losing to Notre Dame because it didn't have anything to do with his conference. And got all hell.
Narduzzi.
Yeah, but if he beats Notre Dame and then wins those next 2 games, he gets an at-large.
Yeah,
I think it was misguided. Yeah. He gave the Charlie Marler approach. Dude, it's fine. We'll just lose. Nobody cares.
So it is when you combine, if indeed Lane Kiffin leaves before going into the college football playoff, you have anarchy. If Lane Kiffin leaves and Ole Miss loses to Mississippi State and doesn't get in, I mean, I don't even know what the hell happened down there.
Yeah.
You got that. That's that. And then you have the domino of what takes place with all the other spots. So there'll be conversations about the calendar. And then the following weekend, you have the conference championship games and the announcement of the college football playoff, in which I'm telling you, somebody from the SEC or the Big Ten is going to be left out because of a North Texas, Tulane, or some random from the ACC that has to represent. So that's going to lead to that chaos. And then we're not done. If Navy, which is possible, gets into the mix, what happens if Navy were to lose the following weekend against Army? Do we just not count it? Do we have a contingency plan for that in what is considered the most sacred of college football games? Are we going to be told that that one doesn't matter on the outcome? So keep an eye on all of that, as this entertainment that comes from college football is more about the soap opera than it is the actual games. My prediction is absolute anarchy over the next 3 weekends, and we're just settling in, brother. It is 9:49 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler here on The Morning After. We welcome you to email in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day, which will come your way at about approximately 10:45, giving away tickets to Guns N' Roses. That show just announced August 16th at Busch Stadium. Tickets don't go on sale until December 5th, but you can win 2 tickets by winning the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day, the morning after, at InsideSTL.com. It's TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
AutoLoanPro.com. That's the website. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, doesn't matter the situation or your circumstance, they're going to work hard to get you into that new vehicle with little to no money down, get you the best rates absolutely possible. And they can do that because Auto Loan Pro works with over 50 different lenders, so they're able to shop it around, finding you the best rate no matter what your circumstance, no matter what your situation. Financing that car can get complicated, especially if there's been a hiccup. Work with Auto Loan Pro to get back on track. Pick out the car online, AutoLoanPro.com, and also download the free playbook. That's going to educate you and also help you to get the car of your choice in the future. Auto Loan Pro is part of the Lita family. Financing a car, the only thing to know is to choose the Auto Loan Pro. Again, best rates possible, little to no money down. Doesn't matter your situation. Get online at AutoLoanPro.com.
This is Jackson with a SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The reeling Las Vegas Raiders have fired their offensive coordinator Chip Kelly last night, making the moves just 11 games into his first season. This came after a 24-10 loss to the Cleveland Browns. That was another SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. StephenLondoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Did you cut a remix?
Yeah. The Brent Key version. Unfortunate outcome for him on Saturday.
Slice him open. What colors do you see? Maybe the most emphatic.
Yeah.
Right? Other than, who was our guy who said, was it Tommy Tuberville? Said, the only way I'm leaving here is in a pine box.
That's right.
Left like a day later.
2 days later. That's exactly right. TMA 101 ESPN. We were joined by Chris Kerber in the 8 o'clock hour and Gabe DeArmond in the 9 o'clock hour. You can always go back and podcast via the Schaefer Door Company podcast here on the Morning After. Jason Gassrow and Schaefer Door, longtime TMA sponsors, grateful for their support. The name of the game is supporting the sponsors of the program, and they are online at SchaeferDoor.com. SCHAEFER door.com. Call or text 636-782-3608. When the weather gets cold, that's when garage doors tend to have issues. They service all kinds of garage doors for service and new installs, and they have Monday morning standby service for the garage doors that break over the weekend, and they service commercial doors as well. So if you run a business or warehouse with big, tall doors, Schaefer is experienced in these types of jobs. It's Schaefer Door Company. SchaeferDoor.com. Call or text 636-782-3608. Schaefer Door, a CHI overhead door dealer. Chris Kerber with us earlier on in the program, talking it over regarding the Blues and Rangers, which you will be able to hear tonight on 101 ESPN. Pre-game is at 5 p.m. Puck drop at 6 p.m. I think if the Blues can get this one, people start to go, okay, maybe you can start there and to look back and go, okay, yeah. I mean, minus that debacle in the run, the Blues have had games where they're picking up a point. Maybe they've righted the ship, and people can start to buy in. Okay, it looks different since Jake Neighbors is back. The goaltending has gotten much better performances here as of late, just minus the Golden Knights debacle on that Saturday and the back-to-back after losing in overtime to Philadelphia. They've picked up a point in every game going back to losing to Washington. If you take out the loss to the Golden Knights, and you can start to believe and see a path home. They're 5 points back of Utah for that second wild card spot.
Binnington was really good in Toronto, really good against the Islanders, so that's 2 in a row for him. Hofer good against the Flyers, and when the team was bad, those guys were both bad. It's how things sort of snowballed. It is a long season. I think this roster probably still has some holes in it. You know, it's amazing how many young guys, like Snuggerud, you just don't hear his name. It's because he's young. It's going to go through it. Just quiet. And then Dvorsky jumps up. Wasn't supposed to be here. He's now doing a little bit more. So maybe, I think if you win tonight, then people will say, all right, you've got momentum. If you play poorly again or lose again, you're kind of right back where you were. They've dug such a big hole that they kind of need to rattle off some wins. They can't afford to have a good loss. And the Rangers are prime for the taking, 1-7-1 at home. And, Tim, I noticed Jeremy Rutherford, who is part of the family here, he wants to get to the bottom of things, so he walked over and watched the Today Show on the Plaza today.
I saw that from the Twitter tweets. He was hanging out with Carson Daly.
He looked to be pretty close to the Al Roker and company.
Yeah.
Look at him, just a big old fan. He's just a big old, I'm from Missouri.
So they have, I know you love logistics. It was 3 nights staying in Manhattan? Is that the deal?
So my understanding is, they played that Islander game Saturday during the day. Then you get to Manhattan. So you got Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday. It might be 4.
4 nights in Manhattan?
Because you got the Garden tonight, you stay there. And then that Devils game Wednesday. You'll check out of Manhattan. I think they do like a day hotel. This is really into the weeds.
Wow, I have to tell you, I'm color me curious.
Yeah, I think they like go there for a little bit of because you need somewhere to kind of hang out during the middle of the day. So they have a day hotel Wednesday.
Well, that nap is a big thing after the skate.
Because if you think about it, even if you bus from Manhattan over there, you're in Jersey. You're not going to go back to Manhattan.
Right.
If you really want to get into logistics,
I do.
here.
Jackson, do NBA players take naps after their?
Oh yeah, LeBron is
famously
staunch
napping
about taking.
But they'll
a
nap in their lockers.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys they do shoot arounds usually like 10 a.m.
Yeah,
and then afterwards we'll take a pretty healthy nap.
So I think it's going to be 4 nights in Manhattan because you got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's the way to do it. And it is sort of their annual trip. The Montgomery thing, Chris Kerber pointed this out. It was this trip last year when they fired Drew Bannister, and Montgomery's first game was against the New York Rangers.
People are tired of the cat and his New York values.
New York values. If you're going to be in Manhattan for a few, it's a fun week to do it. Thanksgiving coming up.
Perfect week.
Good on JR for walking up to the plaza there to take in the show.
Yeah, with the great Carson Daly, friend of the program. So if the Blues can get it tonight, get a little buzz before heading back after playing the Devils, and maybe you've got a little. How about the Friday 3 p.m. start? You like that?
I kind of like that.
I have to tell you, I kind of like that. I gotta track down some tickets and take the family for the Friday 3 p.m. start.
Day after Thanksgiving.
It's Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk is to have the home Thanksgiving, and then take on the note. Couldn't be more convenient.
And then 3 is just kind of a good sweet spot. And that noon 1 too early, 3 is perfect.
I can watch the Egg Bowl and see what happens with Lane Kiffin, then head down to Enterprise Center, watch the Blues, and then what? Texas A&M, I think, is Friday night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's going to be a 6:30 kick on Friday night.
You got Clayton Keller scoring goals on Saturday.
Yeah, I do need to bet that. I need to put a reminder in my phone to bet Clayton Keller scoring a goal on Saturday. Well, that's a good call.
And you start wagering in Missouri. We're a week away, right?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the delicious opportunity.
And they got right to it. Once the voters said, we want this,
right?
They said, we will take what you want and make it happen. Just give us about a year.
Yep. Yeah, that's about industry standard, I think.
Okay.
Jimmy Carlton is here. James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency is going to be with us in the 10 o'clock hour. Doug had to bolt early. Just had a real vocal issue. So I had a few people. I don't know if you saw that, Martin. You're monitoring the text inbox as well, saying that one of the new symptoms of COVID, like this, is losing your voice.
Yeah, somebody texted that earlier about Doug not having, because Doug said, I feel fine.
Yeah, he said he feels
wasn't
100%.
under the weather, but he clearly didn't have his voice. And so a texter said, I just had it. It's the new COVID. You feel fine, but you lose your voice.
No.
And the text line's undefeated with accuracy.
That's correct.
Right. So correct. I'm just gonna take that as fact.
That's correct. So we won't see Doug now until after Thanksgiving. So there you go, Jackson.
I sure hope not.
God, if you ever want a day off, just come in here and say, I'm so sorry, guys. And then you get out in the car like, yeah, I'm out of here. Where are we playing?
I was telling Jackson, I mean, there's no way that any of us who host this program listen to it when we're off. I mean, it's just not the way that it works. And I was so sick on Thursday that I'm actually driving to my doctor, and therefore I'm listening to the show. Mm-hmm. And then I hear you're sick. So I truly, if I wouldn't have had vacation scheduled, I probably wouldn't have come in. I mean, I was a mess on Thursday, so much so that I go in to see the doctor.
Thursday was the toughest day for me.
Holy crap.
Yeah, Thursday was rough.
So it's certainly something, as most of you are probably well aware. I'm sure you know people, or you yourself are feeling ill. It's brutal.
How about Eric in the Central West End? Here we go. More COVID woke talk. More woke COVID talk.
Jackson's shaking his head. He's debating if he's going to say anything.
No, I've learned my lesson.
Mr. Siders chiming in. New COVID, LOL. Shut up, you woke loser.
No.
So people can't have COVID
it's like a
anymore.
Bat signal.
You woke loser. So is Doug the woke loser?
Doug is woke.
Because he is.
It's the title of the segment, German Kurt. Doug is woke
loser.
And the great thing is he'll never find out that was the name of the segment.
Exactly right.
Well,
unless he's driving to the doctor right now, like I was on Thursday, which is why I then texted you. I said, what the hell's going on? Because neither one of us felt sick on Wednesday. And I mean, I guess I'm glad I had a vacation day because you don't want to call in sick.
Right.
But I mean, I'm driving to Missouri Baptist on Thursday. I'm like, oh, I'll listen to the show.
Yeah. That was Thursday was tough. Took a lot of Dayquil. able to power through. But
and
yeah.
eventually it would kick in, so papers would be kind of fading, and then all of a sudden, here we go, back.
It started to really hit my bloodstream. Yeah. But this weekend was huge for recovery.
I got a COVID test. I apologize to Eric in the Central
Woke
West End.
loser.
That's what I didn't ask for it. They gave me that, and then also an influenza test, both negative. I don't know. But yeah, the whole family's still feeling it. As like I said, a bunch of people in St. Louis are, including our very own Doug Vaughn, who feels fine, but just has a vocal issues. That's why he's not here. And Martin, you were able to talk with, who'd you have to talk to get onboarding pushback today?
It's really crazy because Gersh has been missing. I guess he's now staying on with the Cardinals, so he's been excused from onboarding, so it's getting a little quiet in there.
Yeah.
But, I want to stick around. I want to get to prediction. I did pick Mizzou to lose. And
I wasn't here for the predictions this week.
And I never quite remember the picks, and those SEC scores roll by, and this week they're all those, non-cons. And I'm always like, did I pick that? I cannot remember, so I count on papers to review it all.
All right, I'm curious. We'll
Jimmy Carlton.
See what happened.
Okay,
James Carlton coming up. It's TMA 101 ESPN. It's TMA 101 ESPN. The show is presented to you by Brown and Crouppen, 10 o'clock hour. Tim McKernan, Martin Kilcoyne, Doug Vaughn had to bolt home with some vocal issues that we just thought was laryngitis, but Jackson is insisting is COVID and will not stop talking about it, which has upset Eric in the Central West End and Mr. Siders.
Right.
And now Papers is wearing a mask just to be safe.
Re-quarantine, re-lockdown, businesses, all that. That's what I'm angling for.
Okay, sometimes you'll be fine.
Joining us in studio, loyal sponsor of the program, the great James Carlton, who's online at carltoninsurance.net. And now, not only you got my insurance, you got Jamie Rivers last month, now you got BK.
I'm telling you right now, everybody
signed up.
Everybody listening, it is worth 2 minutes of your time to go to carltoninsurance.net. This is not just me passing on some made-up marketing message. There's some real dollars to be saved out there.
Yeah, I listened to your spot. I mean, there is significant savings. That's not BS. And James has been coming on the show for, God, I don't know how many years. And
rarely marketing, by the way.
Yes, just usually
just hanging out. But what do you attribute that to?
And you don't do this. You don't come in and say there's a sale every week. Let me put it that way. That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly right. I don't know, Martin. I don't know what I attribute to, but hey, when you get these cycles, you want to run with them, and hopefully this typhoid Mike doesn't get me sick for the holiday week this week.
That's right.
I can't see the text inbox. I assume it's just a lot of sentiment of gratitude for you guys in the show.
Oh my goodness! Martin, have you seen a negative text today?
Every 2 seconds. Why are you talking Mizzou? They suck. Why are you talking about the Blues? They suck. Forget college sports. Forget the NFL.
Did you guys do your favorite Thanksgiving dishes segment yet? Or are we saving that?
Doing the draft on Wednesday. Jackson has that scheduled for 8 on Wednesday.
3-segment draft.
We actually gave SLU men's soccer a little credit for winning a tournament game.
I can't wait to watch their game on Sunday.
Immediately. Soccer sucks. Switching the channel. You guys suck. It's unbelievable.
Papers were revisiting Predictionary from Friday. Now, I was vacationing at your parents' place in the Hamptons, so I wasn't in, but I did take Missouri on the spread zone. It was my only loss in college.
Yeah.
God. And listen, whatever with that game, but Kevin Coleman should catch that ball, and Missouri should cover. I think we're all in unanimity on that one. And that was my reasoning. I'm like, I don't think they win. But because of the offensive nature of Oklahoma and the defensive nature of Missouri, they should keep them in check. And I think Missouri can score 7 to 10 points. But I was off. I was off by a point and did not cover there. What else did you guys pick? I don't think I had any other SEC games.
There were all those blowout matchups.
So we only did 2 of those blowout matchups because the rest were boring. Martin and Doug were on Oklahoma, so they got that right.
Nicely done, boys.
A true son, of course, was on Missouri. That was an L. We took 2 of the massive spread games, Charlotte at Georgia. Doug was on Georgia, did not cover. Martin was on Charlotte. I was on Charlotte.
Sharp play, Martin.
Yeah.
My theory was these schools, they didn't need any style points. They were going to be polite about it.
I believe Kirby is now 0-16 when favored by 38.5 or more.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I saw something along those lines.
Against the spread, of course.
Yep.
That'd be a great post game. Yeah, when you're favored by 38.5, how come you can't cover?
Oh. Alabama took on Eastern Illinois. Doug was on Bama. Martin was on Eastern Illinois. I was also on Eastern Illinois. Bama did cover that number, winning 56-0. Now we get into the real games. Arkansas, Texas. Doug.
Wow, that's being called a real game.
Well, realer.
For last week, yeah.
Both Martin and Doug were on Texas, so they get that win. I was on Arkansas.
What was the number on that there, Papers?
That was a 8.5-point spread favored Texas.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah. A lot of points in that game. Kentucky at Vandy.
I would love Coach Carlton to say, I bet that one. By the way, rates are going up.
All 3 of us were on Vandy, so we all get that win. Tennessee at Florida. This was the only road dog, I believe, road favorite, I should say. Tennessee favored by 4. They clear out
31-3 at the half.
Yeah, they were smoking Florida.
The anger in Gainesville after that is on another level, which is why we keep going back to Eli Drinkwitz and a job. Can you imagine if that was their solution? In their minds, they're thinking they're getting Lane Kiffin, and then they get Eli Drinkwitz.
We have Lane Kiffin at home. Eli Drinkwitz. Florida Martin was on Tennessee, Doug was on Florida, I was on Tennessee. So Doug is the sole loser there. And finally, we did the Oregon-USC game because it was the only other ranked matchup. Doug was on USC, Martin was on USC. Sorry, boys, wrong. I was on Oregon.
Oh, look at this guy.
Wow. Right.
I was on Oregon. I get the win.
The Autzen Zoo.
So I went 3-4. Martin went 5-2. Great week for Martin.
All right. Tip of the cap.
And Doug went 4-3.
All right, there it is. Let me ask you boys this two-part question. You get to pick anybody to win the national championship. I'll give you the odds. And anybody to win the Heisman Trophy. James, you're the sponsor. We'll start with you.
I think the Heisman Trophy is Mendoza's to lose for sure. So that's who I'd go with there. And if I had the two-parter, the second part was who do I think would win it all as of right now? If I had to go, because I'm never going to pick the top seed, I'm going to go with Georgia.
Mendoza, for the record, is -125 and is the favorite. And then as far as Georgia, they are 5th, and you will receive $1,000 on your $100 bet.
Not bad. Okay.
Martin, where are you going?
I was going to say Mendoza. If that's boring, I should say, I wish I could say Jeremiah Love. At least I would love to see him just get invited, but I don't think he's quite. Is he
He's tied for second on odds, so I don't think he's there. And they're playing Stanford.
Is it top
this
3? How many go?
That was 4.
4.
Is it 4? Okay, well then I think he'll go. I thought it was 3. Love to see him just make it to New York. But I think Mendoza, that'd be my Heisman guess. National champion. Tim, you said who would win the national champion?
That's correct. An unfortunate delay tactic.
Yes. I'm going to go Indiana. What the hell?
+500. They are second to Ohio State, who is +185. Little Jackie Papers. Loved that rascal puff.
Give me the Buckeye parlay. Julian Sayin to win the Heisman and the Buckeyes to repeat.
How about that?
There you go. +185 on Ohio State. I do like the James Carlton Georgia play. I'll take the Fighting Irish +950.
Yeah, they're humming right now.
Yeah, I'll take the Fighting Irish +950. I'm a little surprised. I think your fire up CB guy is live. I really do. He's second in the odds.
For a chance to win?
Yeah.
It's always a quarterback,
I don't think Mendoza, it is an every year that doesn't end in a 5. And this year ends in a 5.
And that goes back to 80 years.
Derrick Henry, 10 years ago. Reggie Bush, 20 years ago. Eddie George, 30 years ago. Bo Jackson, 40 years ago. And then before 1982, I can't speak on it. But 75, who would it have been? Anybody know?
1975 Heisman.
Archie Griffin.
I was about to say Archie Griffin.
Archie Griffin.
So there you go.
So as of 2021, they started inviting 4 Heisman finalists, which is great. So he's going to get invited for sure. Chance to win. You're right. It is the year of the 5. I would love that. God, that'd be great. Maybe the quarterbacks can split the vote. I'm supposed to be getting a Heisman vote this year.
Oh, are you really?
Yes.
I feel like I think there is nearly as many people with podcasts as there are Heisman voters.
I know, and I'm
always shocked when I'm like, oh, wow, that guy's got a Heisman vote? Huh.
Brendan Weesey said, because he's on the Heisman, and he follows college football very closely. He's really, and you know this, James, he's really into it. And he said to me, he was recommending me to take Ben, because Ben Frederickson had a vote and then got out of the business. I don't know why he'd leave the business.
Yeah, what happened?
And give up a Heisman vote for a professional job?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Be able to raise family in peace?
But I have not seen the paperwork on it. But I'll be very objective when voting for Jeremiah Love to win the Heisman Trophy. Of course.
Question: has St. Louis ever had a Heisman?
A St. Louisan? We should probably
I don't think so, right?
I voted for Steve Schnurr in 1995 when they went to the Rose Bowl. Coincidentally, he was the quarterback of the St. Louis U High Junior Billikens.
How about
That's
that?
the only time I've ever voted.
I was thinking, even where did Zeke finish? Did he ever get?
Oh, yeah, he had to be in the mix.
In the mix. Again, running back.
When it comes to Mendoza, I don't think that people go Indiana is great because of Mendoza.
Yeah.
I think people go Indiana is great because of Cignetti.
That's a good point.
And I think what Love does, I just think that catches more attention. I have to tell you, listen, it's not like I'm sitting here passionately saying it, but I'm just not sold on the Mendoza thing. I don't know.
Is Stockton on there?
Gunnar Stockton's on there and is at +5,000.
Wow. he's humming right now. Saying is playing great right now. He sure is.
I'm not... I think Marcel Reed gets more attention than Fernando Mendoza, but maybe I'm off the mark on this. I don't know. And certainly, you want to talk about attention, nobody's higher than Pavia, who went off this past weekend. There were some games. This was a rare spot this weekend where there was some real logic edges. You knew Auburn was going to beat Mercer. If you know the set of circumstances there, you know DJ Durkin, who is the interim coach, wants that job. You know they can pretty much name the score as far as what they're going to put up against them. And so they're going to run it up. And that was the reason why I picked that random game. They were 28.5-point favorites. Notre Dame is in the same spot. I think there is a perception that Notre Dame is automatically in. That is not necessarily the case. This is the strangest part of these rankings. But Notre Dame losing to Miami head-to-head is not in the committee's discussion because Notre Dame is in a different flight, for lack of a better term, in the rankings than Miami. And so if they were to get into the same flight, then the head-to-head matters. But because they're not in the same flight, the head-to-head does not matter. I know this sounds ridiculous, but that is the explanation for it. If Miami is able to beat Pittsburgh this weekend and they're in the same flight as Notre Dame could fall out. Okay? So that's there. Then you also have the Alabama situation to keep an eye on. You also have the Vanderbilt situation to keep an eye on as a 10-2 SEC team that would win in Knoxville against the team that, at least in the AP, is currently ranked number 18. That would give Vanderbilt a signature win. It's not a monster win, but it's a signature win in addition to being 10-2 and going through the SEC. So there's inevitable chaos with regard to this thing. And then, yeah, I mean, I look at the Heisman Trophy and I'm going, boy, I think there's some value there on some names other than Mendoza, because I just don't think people think of him as being the guy. But then at the same time, if it's not Mendoza, who? And I would go Jeremiah Love. That's where I would go on it.
By the way, Ezekiel Elliott was 8th in the Heisman voting in 2015.
James, you were of the opinion, your opinion's gone back and forth, as many of ours has, with regard to Drinkwitz. Do you think he's staying or do you think he's going?
I mean, I do check in on Power Mizzou and all these boards on a regular basis to see what the temperature is. And I went from 3 weeks ago heading into A&M. I hated the whole vibe around the program that week. I was like, he's got one foot out the door, and then he comes on Tiger Talk the following week. I'm like, oh, this guy's staying. Now I feel like I don't know if there's an offer. I don't know if there's a legitimate offer at one of these quote upgrades: Penn State, LSU, Florida, conceivably Auburn. I just don't know. I think he might have to stay out of lack of demand for his services right now. And wouldn't it be hilarious if after all this, he's just on the same contract? Nothing changes.
There's no extension?
There's no extension.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
I mean, if you had this situation with an employee as in a position of power and they're flirting with all these other programs and it ends up kind of with egg on their face, I mean, I'm not sure how inclined I'd be to just back up the Brinks truck and give him a bunch of money. I mean, I think he had that opportunity that week of that A&M game. He could have named his price. He probably could have been a top 5 paid coach in the country. People would have been just all fired up. And now if he comes in and says, hey, I'm here for the long run, it just feels like it's out of necessity, not out of desire.
The entertainment factor of him being announced at Auburn, at LSU, or at Florida would be second to none. It would be up there with the Schiano, Tennessee, Stoops, Texas A&M fan revolt. That's what I think. Because at this point, there isn't a win out there to get him over the hump. You
Correct.
beat Arkansas. Well, of course, you're supposed to beat Arkansas. The combined win total of the teams Missouri has beaten in the SEC this year is 3. They have beaten Auburn.
Can I ask you a question? Because I didn't have a chance to listen to SVP Pod or Game Day in the past week. Is there a chance that Kiffin is out as of Sunday, and he's not coaching? He's not coaching
That's
the
correct.
Rebels in the playoffs.
I think that is the odds-on favorite.
So I mean, if he says, "Hey, I'm going to LSU," they're not going to allow him to coach in that playoff game.
That is what the expectation is.
That is insane because the way Reese Davis was arguing it is it's not like Ole Miss has this storied national championship history pedigree. This is your one chance, and they legitimately could win this whole thing, and you're going to pull the rug out from underneath that. But I also understand this guy just committed to coaching another rival school, and you're going to let him finish it out. That's just bonkers to me. That is the wildest thing I can remember happening in college football, outside of maybe the Arkansas guy coaching right now.
I think because it's also in your conference. Like if he were taking but if Lane were leaving for USC, UCLA, maybe they could say, all right, well, we hate this, but let's try and win the Natty here. But the fact that it's in the SEC, I don't think there's any way.
I mean, if they hated him in Knoxville,
yes.
Oh my goodness, is this going to be crazy? And what if they lost to Mississippi State on? Is it Friday? When do they play?
Friday at 11 o'clock.
I'm going to actually pay attention to that. I don't think there's a good chance Mississippi State wins, but my goodness, would that be incredible?
I think the gangster move for Laird Veach would be to have a press conference and say, we're so excited about the future. We've got our coach. He's been here, and we've heard his request to really up our NIL money. We were going to do an extension, but we're going to actually put that money into the NIL fund. Just dunk on him that way and say, yeah, we got a bunch of money here, but we're not going to do an extension. We're going to put it into the pile for better players.
The next week is just going to be outstanding entertainment. James Carlton's online at carltoninsurance.net. He's my insurance agent. Now he's Brandon Kiley's insurance agent, and he saved thousands of dollars for Jamie Rivers. 314-961-4800. Go online at carltoninsurance.net. Thank you, James.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And to the listeners as well, real quick, I've gotten some responses. Hey, we're current clients. Are we going to see these rate reductions? And absolutely, we're grateful for you guys as well. As the renewals come up, you will more than likely see a generous reduction. So thank you, all the listeners. Thank you guys for the partnership, and happy Thanksgiving.
God bless. Happy Thanksgiving to the great James Carlton.
God bless us all.
State Farm Insurance Agency. We'll take a commercial break. Come back with more TMA here on 101 ESPN. There is nothing like watching Thanksgiving football, but for football fans in Missouri this year, FanDuel is about to make it even better. Because with points giving, all FanDuel customers in Missouri get $1 in bonus bets for every point scored in the Chiefs-Cowboys game. So, for example, if the final score is 24-21, you'd get $45 in bonus bets. It doesn't matter if you've already signed up for FanDuel or you've been waiting for the right moment to join. Just head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get in on the action in Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri to score bonus bets for every point in the Chiefs versus Cowboys games. Enjoy a football feast with points giving on FanDuel coming soon to Missouri. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Welcome back to the Morning After 101 ESPN 100 West Dental, longtime TMA sponsor. They are online at 100westdental.com. No phone calls needed to get in. Just check the calendar online for availability and book right then and there. No dental insurance, no problem. The membership plan aids in the cost of dental work for those who do not have dental insurance. And they have a huge offer going on that if you mention my name, you get $1,000 off Invisalign. If you're on the fence about Invisalign, they have a digital scanner that'll show you a simulation of what it'll look like before you even go through with it. It's 100westdental.com, 100westdental.com on Manchester and Baldwin, or call 636-585-0100, 100westdental.com. Give them my name, and you get $1,000 off Invisalign at 100 West Dental. Martin, the hottest name in baseball broadcasting is Joey Votto. He has been called the most interesting man in baseball, and Joey Votto's unique personality is one big reason why the retired Reds legend is now the target of MLB Media partners seeking new TV talent, sources tell Front Office Sports. According to one sports television producer quoted in the article, but who wanted to remain anonymous, Joey Votto is, in my opinion, a no-brainer. He's an MVP. He's a national name. He's a natural in front of the camera. And at another media source, if NBC wants to make a splash with Sunday Night Baseball, Joey would be perfect. Do you view Joey Votto in that same capacity as a no-brainer star?
Canadian often equals funny. I think he always did kind of offbeat stuff. He might be a little dry, perhaps, but I think in terms of personality, yeah, I could see that. And Sunday Night Baseball on NBC, that's great for MLB to get that featured on NBC on Sunday nights. Kind of take that football vibe that they have Sunday Night Football. But Joey Votto, yeah, because who else has retired in recent years other than Matt Holliday, of course?
I just felt the way that the Team USA roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
They'd have to outscore their opponents. So we're looking for that type of analysis from Joey Votto.
You don't have to worry about what you say because no one's listening.
Oh, thanks, Matt. That's hurtful. Tim, were you here the day I was texting Matt? We had a housing segment. We sort of stumbled into a housing segment.
I did not hear this. This must have been Thursday or Friday.
Who lived in Matt's house, and did Yachty buy Holiday's house? Did Travis Ford move? We did a whole thing, and then Matt texted back with clarification that at one point Molina bought his old house, and then Travis Ford later bought a house Matt Holliday had. And then I said, we're having a big show. He said, yeah, sounds like it. But we'll take your real estate questions. Joey Votto, yeah, I'm trying to think of recent retirees that would be good in the booth.
Well, then you don't understand pitching, and that's okay.
Say that again?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry? Jack Flaherty. Edgy. Still in the game.
Still is pitching.
Still pitching.
Correct.
Joey Votto, yeah. I think always known as a good guy. That whole Pujols to the Reds that Walt Jocketty told me when he was with the Reds that they were trying hard to sign him that free agent year when Albert was leaving St. Louis. Walt's example is that they went to Joey Votto and he said, and we even said, you have to move from first base. And Votto said, to get Albert Pujols? Oh, my God, yeah. No. Votto said, I'll play left field. I don't care. So I think very liked in the game, too. It's funny because he's kind of like Sean Casey, maybe a little more hyper-ish, but he was a Reds first baseman. Got a big personality. And now Votto, I don't think I'd say it, and I don't know. I'm trying to picture him. He can be a little dry, funny maybe, but looks like Brett Straubinger. I don't know if that's good or bad.com, but there's my Joey Votto breakdown.
I'm surprised that there is this much enthusiasm for him.
Did he seem a little dry, funny, kind of quiet-ish?
I think
not from a big market either.
That's where I was going with it. How many people really outside of Cincinnati know/care about Joey Votto to the point that he would be a home run hire? That's the nature of baseball fandom in 2025. It's more regional. If you look at Fox's World Series coverage, who do they have on their dais? A-Rod, Jeter, Ortiz. It's not a coincidence. Are they the three best analysts? Probably not. But are they the most recognizable of who would be available? You better believe it. And maybe you can lift the caliber of the discussion by having somebody who isn't necessarily recognizable then has a personality with those guys. I would be on board with that. But my reaction when I saw this article, Jackson sent it over in the links, and I'm like, wow, I'm surprised that Joey Votto, that there's sweepstakes for Joey Votto. It's not a shot at Joey Votto so much as the way that these hires are usually made on the national level. For example, drawing a local parallel, I think Tioka Jackson is one of the most insightful analysts, both when he was playing and after playing, not just on the game of football, but on issues impacting the game. But Tioka could be the first one to say he was not, some kind of all-pro who would be recognizable outside of where he played in Tampa, St. Louis, and Detroit. So he's not going to get those gigs. So I'm surprised that Votto is being viewed as a sweepstakes. But hey, if that's the case, great. I certainly would enjoy some personality.
I think an interesting comp is someone like Paul Biz Nasty. And I'd be the first to say Joey Votto had a much more prolific career in baseball than Biz had in the NHL. But Biz got to where he was through his podcast with Ryan Whitney and growing to that level, and then was able to be a star at the national level because he had name recognition. I don't think he would have had that, been the stage he's at without that podcast. So Votto doesn't have that.
Right. He doesn't have the social media presence of the podcast.
Right.
So, yeah, Biz without question, but that's of course fueled by the podcast and the social media presence, which he was doing while he was playing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, I'm starting to wonder, the article is from Front Office Sports. You start to wonder, is the agent, this is much like the coaching carousel, planting some seeds here? Joey Votto is, in my opinion, a no-brainer, says one sports TV producer who declined to be named. And then it says the six-time All-Star liked to get his feet wet in sportscasting during his playing career. During the 2022 opening day, he donned a mic for ESPN during a Reds-Braves game. It made for great TV. So that's what we're pointing to?
His funny always seemed forced to me. Like he was doing bits or...
sketches and bits?
Yeah, little sketches. Remember the thing where it was about sweeping? Kept calling Cardinal fans MFers or something. It was really odd. I don't know. I never found him to be all that funny.
Why do you hate Canadians?
I don't hate Canadians. I just shared my love for Biz.
Tim, it goes on to say, while the ball was in play, Votto talked defense. Hitting mechanics, dabbled in play-by-play. It just seems like that's an agent or somebody saying, oh, yeah, you want an example?
Here's his resume.
He was mic'd up that one game.
There's nothing worse than a comfortable media person.
Now, Lance Lynn, probably not a huge national name.
Give me that.
On a dais would be perfect. Just kind of weighing in between, not trying to call the game or each pitch.
Give me that. But see, if you put that, and Votto does have some personality, then you kind of get into the NHL and TNT. NBA and TNT is not a fair comparison because you have huge star power on that show. They just happen to have
huge personalities on top of the resume.
Yes. But I would love
Lance
that.
Lynn on a dais.
Oh,
just sort of mocking.
Oh, that's what you need. Jackson, they're not happy because they say the skeleton is currently playing on the app, and this is something that you would like to explain to the audience.
Yeah. So our friends down the hallway on 105.7 The Point, The Riz Show.
Yeah, but just to be clear, we are in a radio world.
We are.
Now even more so.
Right, yeah. It's only going to ramp up after this. But they came to me and asked if they could use the old TMA studio to record something. They're having some issues finding a place to record something. I want to be as helpful as I can. The issue is our board in that studio simulcast this very presentation you're hearing right now on 105.7 HD2 and by extension the TMA STL app. And so because of that and their need to record, I had to switch off of the simulcast and into the skeleton so they could record. Unfortunate. Should have said something beforehand, but didn't. So if you're out there why is this happening? That's the explanation. You did nothing wrong. I did something wrong.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It's leadership right there, Martin. Yeah. That's leadership.
So apologies.
I say we knock them off the air tomorrow.
There's several other outlets where you can listen to the show. The 101 ESPN app, 101ESPN.com. Your radio, YouTube, all
so we
those
apologize for the inconvenience.
I certainly, you guys don't need to apologize for anything. I apologize.
How about that? This is little Jackie Papers. King Scott came into the studio and asked if they could use the studio.
Yeah, and it's trying to help.
Of course. And then Jackson's like, oh, that might impact the simulcast.
Oh, yeah, that was definitive for sure. But it is, again, plenty of outlets to listen. So apologies to.
But if it helps, you really haven't missed anything. If you're just tuning in now,
I think you've missed quality radio.
Wow, how about that?
World class.
We
radio.
really have unloaded a lot. I mean, there's been a good Blues discussion. This team that's playing the Rangers tonight, college football carousel. Gabe was on the show. We had pre-Gabe, Tim. I don't even know. I didn't even realize we were in pre-Gabe at the time. Checking the till, clearing the deck, and you guys still have email of the day.
Yes, giving away 2 tickets to Guns N' Roses for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. That is coming up in a matter of moments. That concert just announced for August 16th of next year. Tickets are going to go on sale on December 5th. You can learn more at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app. And somebody's going to win 2 tickets, even though they are not for sale until December 5th by winning the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Email in to compete. And your email could be read the morning after at InsideSTL.com. And then you could win 2 tickets to Guns N' Roses August 16th, 2026 at Busch Stadium. Celebrate St. Louis tradition at its finest with Ted Drew's Frozen Custard, serving the community with unmatched quality, service, and hometown pride for generations. They have concretes, malts, shakes, sundaes, floats, and ice cream sodas. Also sold by the quart, Ted's delicious custard pairs perfectly with your favorite holiday treats. Known for their rich, creamy frozen custard made fresh daily, Ted Drew's is the place where quality ingredients meets exceptional service. And starting the day after Thanksgiving, Ted Drew's becomes your one-stop holiday destination with a beautiful selection of premium Christmas trees. Choose from top-quality pine and fir trees, including customer favorites like the Fraser fir and Scotch pine, all hand-selected for freshness and fullness. The Ted Drew's Christmas tree lots have lush holiday greenery and decor as well, including handmade wreaths, garlands, swags, mistletoe, and more. Christmas trees and greenery are available while supplies last. So do not wait. Stop by early for the best selection. Open the day after Thanksgiving, located at 6726 Chippewa on the south side, opening at 11 a.m. daily. It is Ted Drew's. All right, we got the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day coming up. This is TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. Has your car's warranty expired or about to expire? When cars break, it's always a surprise. Fixing cars isn't something most people can do in their backyard anymore. Dealership labor rates average nearly $200 an hour. The average repair costs over $1,500, while major repairs can run $3,000 to $5,000. With Atlas coverage, you simply hand over your ID card, not a blank check. Atlas is your roadmap to vehicle protection. Learn more at atlasvehiclepro.com. And if you let them know you are a TMA listener, you get $400 off your quote. The number to call is 314-720-5990. That's 314-720-5990. Let them know you're a TMA listener and you get $400 off your quote. It's Atlas Vehicle Pro, online at atlasvehiclepro.com.
This is Jackson with the Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Blues back in action this evening as they take on the New York Rangers in Manhattan. Pre-game at 5 p.m., puck drop at 6 p.m. right here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back to the Morning After. It's time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, giving away 2 tickets to Guns N' Roses for today's prize. Here we go. Timmy's triumphant return, and how do we sound? Doug sounding raspy from pounding beers down. Papers knocking sambas because his feet are flat, and Mizzou dashing hopes, but we're used to that. But low on the horizon, what cometh our way? Betting in Missouri, hip, hip, hooray. Time to make wagers and prop bets galore. Time for point totals, over-unders, and more. Time for screaming at the TV and breaking a door. Time for drowning our sorrows with one heavy pour. Then shaking off demons and doubling down. Success at last, all smiles, no frowns. Lining our pockets with 20s and 10s like Lane in Baton Rouge when he cashes in, or drink when bolts for sunny Gainesville, then Mizzou back to having a position to fill. So place your bets now on who it will be to take the black and gold their next 8-3. That's from Bro Fallon, who won last week. Did he?
Yeah, he won twice, actually.
Oh, wow. Morning, boys. I'm sure you guys had a good show on Friday, but I didn't listen. I took the day off like Father Tim. I had my first consultation for laser hair removal for my scalp. I will do whatever it takes to be like Tim. The bill that had the 15-yarder hit the drop, please, pail.
Jeez. All right, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, I'm going to do it. But it's going to take it.
15-yarder for Bill.
Worth it.
Morning, cuties. Jackson, picture this. Skanksgiving, 4 p.m. You and Doug are getting all dialed up in your room listening to Jason Derulo, MMM. What you say?
What you say? What you say?
I ring the doorbell and pick you bunnies up, but not before speaking to your parents like a real man. And we head to Enterprise. Then it's hoedown before the showdown. We're sitting in section 102, club seats, lower bowl, high back cushion. Only the best for my boys. You think I'm turned off after watching you and Dougie hand play the Fiesta Nacho Bar, but oh no, my hand slides to your upper thigh. That's from Jay.
Jay? Wednesday?
There's another paragraph if you click the little 3 dots. I made him edit it because it was...
Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Nightcap at Bastille.
Nice.
Nightcap at Bastille.
Hot start.
Or my card is open all night. Seriously, anything for you, baby. All 3 of us in the back of an Uber jamming out to Imagine Dragons while your Ledoux huddle highlights are endlessly looping on my phone.
It's a short clip.
Just say the word and I'm there, sweet child of mine. That's from Percy Blumpkin.
Thanks, Percy. So that's not from Jay?
I almost gave the full name.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a nom de plume, but as it turns out, it was not.
Got it.
All right, my dearest Douglas, we've struck a bargain with Commander Jackson's runners. Little Timmy, safe, unharmed, still tooting that internal fife, will be swapped at moonrise for 3 prime beaver plues, a keg of that wicked Irish whiskey you hide behind the flour barrel, and 1 small box of Spanish fly. Don't ask how I came by it. Let's just say that the quartermaster owes me a favor the size of Rhode Island. General Knoxworth, laughing when I told him the terms, slapped my back so hard my teeth rattled, and declared the trade the most patriotic smuggling since Hancock himself. Tomorrow at dawn, I ship out with Knox's artillery train to fortify Boston. So keep the bed warm and the shutters bared. Morale here is higher than a kite on a March wind. When I march home triumphant, I intend to test every drop of that reclaimed whiskey and every grain of that Spanish fly on the only beaver I truly care about, which is yours. Expect me filthy, expect me ravenous, and expect the churn to need new staves by morning. Yours in frost powder and unbearable anticipation, some Sergeant Major Ezekiel Tugg, 3rd Regiment, Virginia. And that's what we have for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. Chairman Kurt first.
Percy Blumpkin.
I'm also going to go Percy Blumpkin.
Percy Blumpkin has won 2 tickets to Guns N' Roses, August 16th. 2026 at Busch Stadium. Tickets going on sale on December 5th, but Percy Blumpkin can count himself He is going to Guns N' Roses. You can learn more at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 ESPN mobile app, which is brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Percy Blumpkin winning by winning the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Time for us to shut it down. BK and Ferrario are up next. For Jackson Burkett, for Chairman Kurt, for Martin Kilcoyne, for my brother Kevin, for Douglas Elvin Vaughn, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been The Morning After, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.